all of you. And Jedediah, welcome to you especially because you're making your Uncensored debut. We always like debutantes. I'm always astonished.
Thank you very much, Piers.
Always astonished when people come back for more. But thank God they do. And thank God Andrew Wilson does. Andrew, your thoughts on Charlize Theron? She doesn't need a man. She likes banging 26-year-olds when she feels like it. You don't need fathers in life. You just need a strong, badass woman.
Well, it's really funny. The reason nobody cares really very much when a 40-year-old attractive woman has sex with some random young man is because it's not impressive. It's impressive when men can bang young women because most men can't bang young women, but most older women can bang young men. So it's just not an impressive accomplishment. Of course, these are the same women who will screech because, Leonardo DiCaprio decides that he wants to change up at 25 years old, any of the broads he has hanging around. But this is not an impressive accomplishment. All a woman needs to do to get laid is go somewhere where there's men and offer it up. It's not the case for men. So it's not.
That is facts. Andrew Wilson is speaking facts right off the bat, right off the busy. Homie came in there shooting from the hip. I would say that I would have said the same thing. What's easy is not respected. If you play a game on easy mode, it's like, cool, man, you beat the game on easy mode. No one really cares. But if you beat the game on hard mode, and you tell your friends about it, I beat it on hard mode. It was extra hard mode. You know what I'm saying? Your friends is like, dang, for real? You done beat the game on hard mode? I ain't even do that yet. I played it on easy. I almost didn't finish it on normal, but hard mode, it's just, the PCs just they're just, too powerful depending on whatever game you're playing. So yeah, women play the game on easy mode when it comes to one, attracting the opposite sex, and also especially when attracting and having sex with the opposite sex. So a 44-year-old woman, dating a man that is, or having sex with a man that's 26 years old, if anything, like in her little circle group, they're like, oh, you had sex with a 26-year-old. Oh, okay, cool. But in the 26-year-old circle group, he could actually be like, man, I done put it down, homie. Listen, I done put it down, right? And also to his little circle group is going to be like, oh, cool, you got some cougar cat. You got some cougar puss. Like, even to your group, it's impressive. Let's say this. It's more impressive in the males group than it is in the females group. So the young man smashing the older chick and his group, he gonna get some respect just because he's getting boxed. Like, just because you can get some puss, you're automatically gonna get some respect because men know it's like, it ain't easy to get boxed. You know what I'm saying? But in a woman's group, they're like, oh, okay. They're probably looking at her weird, like, whore. How girls talk behind each other's back anyway. Girls is probably in their mind like, whore. Like, it's this whore. She's trying to seem like she's better than us. Right? Girls always talk crap about the girls behind their back. In a girl's crew, even if a girl comes in with like a new purse, a Chanel purse, a new bag, or women talk about their accomplishments, or they say anything good, in person, they're like, oh, nice, I'm happy for you. Once they, right behind her back, or once they leave that little function, they're like, I hate Katie. Katie's a whore. She slept with a 26-year-old. Can you believe this whore? But in the males group, it ain't no talking behind the back. If it is talking behind the back, it's like some good stuff like, yo, Brian he out there in them streets wilding. He done catch them all like Pokemon cards. So yeah, what's easy is not respected. And that's just human nature. That's how we perceive things. But let's continue on.
An impressive accomplishment on its face. As to the rest of what she's saying, this is just normal tripe, right? Her kids are the ones who are going to get punished. They're always the ones who get punished. We can look at the data for outcomes on children who are raised in single mother homes. It's not good. It's not good for their mental health. It's not. And by the way, the rates of abuse from having strange men around skyrocket. Terrible idea. And it's exactly the wrong kind of propaganda to be pushing.
All right, Taylor Lorenz, isn't it just a factual reality of life that women are predominantly happier with a man by their side and children are predominantly better off in life with a present father?
I think, listen, children are better off in life when they have a loving household, and not all of those households have fathers. I mean, there are lesbian parents, there are, different types of arrangements. I think it's important for kids to have different figures in their life who they can look up to. I think it's really important to expose kids to all different types of figures, but that doesn't have to be.
See, already she's trying to be like all inclusive. Like, well, children are happy in general with their parents, like whether if their parents are a gay, there's two men, or their parents are unicorns, as long as kids have parents, they're happy. She's just all inclusive, just, putting everyone in a bunch. Well, there's a difference there. We would say that kids are very resilient. You know what I mean? Like kids, they form. They are very moldable, so they form to their environment. So in a doofus brain like this, I mean, think about it. There's an island called Papua New Guinea, and on this island, there's a tribe called the Cum Warriors. And this tribe, and it's a rite of passage for the kids to basically, I can't really say this too much on YouTube. I don't want to get the channel flagged. But listen, man, they're given fellatio as a rite of passage to become like a warrior. And these kids are happy because they think that it's normal, which would say that kids are very, moldable. They're malleable. So, I mean, kids will find happiness in a lot of things because how they're growing up, their natural environment, they'll be like, oh yeah, this is great. But we know that in that little warrior tribe, it's not a good thing. It's not morally right. So for you to compare homosexual parents to heterosexual parents, well, homosexuality isn't anything that's natural or normal. So you're going to just say like, well, kids can be happy. So if you're going to say kids are going to be happy in a homosexual home, we got to say, well, I guess those kids on that island, Papua New Guinea, they're happy too, right? Stupid. Lumping everyone in together. Let's continue on. I hope Andrew Wilson trashes her.
That doesn't have to be like a man, a cisgender man that's standing around all the time. There's plenty of terrible fathers out there too. So, I think it's great that the child is growing up in a loving household, and hopefully, she'll expose the child to lots of different types.
Yeah, but can you acknowledge that we have now been studying this phenomenon of single motherhood for years and years and years, and that the outcomes for children of single mothers tend to be terrible in comparison to the outcomes of children without them? Can you just acknowledge that that is true?
So I think what you're talking about are studies.
I'm asking a question. Don't run from the question. Yes or no? I want you to acknowledge with a yes or no, then a qualifier. Yes or no? Isn't it true that outcomes for children when they're raised by single mothers tend to be worse than those with a mother and a father in the house? Yes or no? Then give me your answer.
So I'd love to respond if you stop talking over me.
Go ahead.
Anyway, most single mothers are not Charlize Theron.
See, this is a devil. This is what you call a devil. Just answer the yes or no and then give your explanation, because he asked a specific question. And devils, they never like to answer anything direct. They like to always like do some backdoor teen mom stuff. So it's just pathetic.
With millions and millions and millions of dollars. So when you look at studies like that, a lot of it has to do with the economic opportunities that a lot of single mothers have. Women make less than men as a whole. They're subject to more sexism and discrimination. So it can often be more challenging for them to raise a child alone.
So the answer is yes?
No, the answer is Charlize Theron.
It sounds like you just said that the answer is yes. The answer, according to you just now, is yes.
No, any single
and then you just
parent,
make excuses.
The thing is, they never want to answer direct because she's a feminist and she's a devil. One of the reasons why she doesn't want to answer a direct yes or even a direct no, because in their mind they put everything together. They package everything together. They don't have the ability to really differentiate things. And you know what? No, I take that back. Cooley, what are you saying? they do have the ability to differentiate things. They do have the ability to, distinguish the two, but they choose not to because it's evil in their heart. They know what's true, but they have an agenda, so they want to speak lies because in their mind, they don't never want to seem like that the man is anything good in the household, or just a man in general is anything good, and let alone shine any light on a woman to show like, well, a woman can't keep up, a woman can't get the job done. So let me just like stray from answering the question directly and give just like this loose answer, which Andrew Wilson caught her in right away. It's basically a yes, because what you said would be all negative things. Well, women, tend to, they and single mothers, they tend to, make less. So the kids really don't have that, financial stability there and da 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 da. Well, that is a yes then.
This is for it. You're like, yes,
Taylor, this is
because
not
women are
right
oppressed.
now. This is so weird. You're like shouting
Taylor,
at me.
can I jump in here,
Well, do
Piers?
you know what it
Yeah,
is?
okay, let's bring, hang on, time out. Let's bring in Jedediah.
Taylor, this is not rocket science. First of all, you lost me at cis male. You just need a guy, just a man, right? We don't need all these terms, these nonsensical, ridiculous terms.
Oh, look at Buddy. Look at Buddy. Wait, let me enlarge this for y'all. Homie is sweet as pie. Look at Buddy over here. Look at his eyes. You know what? Put it back on me. Put it big back on me. God dang. Hold up. Let's bring it back. You know what? I take it back. She's evil, but he's the devil. Or they're both devils. But I think this one is worse, because if you're a man and you literally adopted the woman's characteristic traits, rolling your eyes and puckering up your lips, looking all stupid like that, we would have to say that he's gay. So he adopted all of the attraction triggers of the woman, because a woman is attracted to a man. That little panty boy man is attracted to a man, rolling his eyes like a woman, having mannerisms like a woman. Ugh, disgusting. You know what? Let's continue on. I was about to say something that could possibly get me canceled because I forgot I'm still live on Facebook too. Let's continue on.
Modern leftists have come up with. It's just a man. Children do better when there is a mom and there is a dad. And the reason is that men and women are completely different. They bring very different things to the table. And children need the role model of a mom and a dad, not just people around. Sure, you can have aunts, you can have uncles, you can have friends, but we're talking about the two individuals that are raising a children. And let me just ask.
Hey, bruh. Yo, homie is sweet as pie. This is the guy that, he looked like Tyler Perry. This is some Tyler Perry looking ugly, foogly dude. It's like, when you look like this, nah, I'm not giving no excuses. It's like, you can still find a chick, bro. Like, you can still find some vagina so you can procreate, but instead you found you want the booty hole. You're disgusting, my friend. You're disgusting. Like, ugh. And Jedediah, you know what? She's explaining this perfectly. But the thing is, these two feminists, they don't care what she's talking about. They literally don't want to hear facts at all. They're like, facts? Facts? What? They can't even probably pronounce facts. They're like, facts? Who knows? But yeah, Jedediah, the thing is, you can explain it. Jesus could come back and explain it to them, and they'll still argue with Jesus. Like, Jesus, you're a false prophet. I don't believe in you. A man can be a woman if he wants, and a woman can be a man. Everything is all entangled, right? We're just like interchangeable widgets. So this is bad. Like the title of the thumbnail. This is bad.
Ask you this question. Wait, I'm not done yet. You complained that Andrew interrupted you, and now you just interrupted me. I'm not done yet. Charlize Theron, you're right. She is rich. She has a ton of money. But what example do you think she's sending to young women everywhere that this is somehow empowering, that you should strive? By the way, you should strive to be the single mom because you don't have to deal with a guy. You don't have to answer to a man. Oh, isn't that so wonderful? And guess who'll pay the price? My kid. She even says, my kids can tell their story. How unbelievably selfish of her to say.
Wait, time out. The gay dude didn't speak yet. I'll bet you, I'm going to try to, I've never watched this video before, but I'm going to try to imagine and mimic, give you guys an example of what I think he's going to sound like. Mind you, chat, I'll put it on my kids. I never watched this clip before. I guarantee you when he comes on, he's going to be like this. Well, see, the things that you're saying, he don't even wear glasses, but we're putting on some glasses to get into like a fruit character. Well, the things that you're saying, I don't think that you're right? I don't think that that's true because, cis is a term and we have terms for all type of things. So for you to ignore cis, I guarantee you he's going to speak like that. If he doesn't speak like that, it's probably going to be like this. It's probably going to be like a deep voice because homie is black, so he could have a deep voice. But wait, I'm black. My voice ain't that deep. All right, never mind, chat. He could have a deep voice, so it could be deep and sweet, like, so I truly do not think what you're saying is accurate. It's going to be something sweet like that. And I'm pissed off that I even got to play games and mimic him for y'all entertainment. You know what? That's we can't even say that's one thing they're good for. I was going to say maybe it's one thing that the alphabet community is good for, making fun of them. But they're not even good for that because at the end of the day, why would we even make fun of them? It's pointless. It's haram. It's disgusting. It's all of the religious terms that means immoral. Let's continue on.
My children will one day get to tell a story that they had no father because I decided that I just wanted to do this myself. Me, myself, and my money. Is that the message?
I wanted to
that we
go
should
hump
be sending to young
26-year-olds.
women?
They're lesbian. They shouldn't be able to raise children. You need a man. What about women that
We're
raise
not
children?
talking about Taylor. No one said what
Talking
should
about
be
single
allowed. I'm not
moms.
talking about.
Well, tell you what I find strange. What I find strange is I know Charlize a bit when she was dating Sean Penn. And thought she was very nice, but she was always very elegant. If you interviewed her.
Okay, so pause. Chat, some of you may not know what clip they're speaking about. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the clip right now. So I'm going to pause it here and bring up the clip that they're speaking about so we get some context. Because I don't know why Piers Morgan didn't play the clip because now we have no context of, what happened. And actually, maybe he did play the clip. No, he did play the clip. Let me just rewind it back. So we're at 8 minutes, 39 seconds. Let's rewind it back. He played the clip here. This is to give you guys some context of who they're speaking about and what they're speaking about.
People criticizing her for being a single mom.
I want to just look at them and just be like, do you know how fucking great it is to live exactly how I want to live, to experience motherhood exactly how I wanted to experience it? And I know the next thing they say is well, that's not fair on your kids. Can I tell you something? That will be their story to tell. I can't tell you. I can only tell you that this is the best way that I know how to be a mother to them. And maybe they'll grow up and tell their story, and I will respect that.
Well, she also wanted audiences to know how liberating it is for her children not to have a father.
I love that I don't have to run every fucking thing by a guy. I love that I don't have to, oh my God, co-parent. I fucking love that I don't have to do any of that stuff. And my children, we joke, listen, I think you can tell, this is how I raise my kids.
Yeah.
Right? We don't hide this shit.
But don't worry, while Charlize doesn't think husband or father is important in life, she hasn't given up on men altogether.
I found this freedom in my 40s where I'm oh my God. So I just want to say this in perspective. I've probably had 3 one-night stands in my entire life.
Okay.
And chat real quick, you know what all of this is? She's 44 years old. She's successful, meaning financially successful. She's an actor in many movies, many shows that's on Netflix and stuff like that too. She's been around for a while. I'm sure she had many different husbands and been through many different divorces. But all of this is cope. Women are professional copers. And you got to think about it. One of the reasons why women are professional copers, they're like better than men, much, much better than men, because women are higher in trait neuroticism. Now, this is just me making a correlation. Doesn't mean it's causation, but a correlation which makes some sense. Since women are higher in estrogen, they feel more emotions. They're higher in trait neuroticism, so they feel more negative emotions. One of their ways for them to like get through their day-to-day life and overcome adversities would be to create coping mechanisms so they don't have to deal with reality, right? And if you think about it, women barely have to deal with reality anyway. Like their mothers and their fathers lied to them, in America at least, with the traditional view of believing in like Santa Claus and stuff. Then their people around, their girlfriends lied to them when they're like out of shape or overweight. Oh, girl, you look good. Your curves is fine. Love your curves. So they're the groups that they're around consistently always lie to them, like their woman groups. Then you got to think about it. Men lied to them too. I would say that men probably lie to them the most is because women have what men want, which is vagina. Men want that. In order to get that, most men lie to them. So you get an average chick, probably below average chick. She gets hit on all the time. Men approach her all the time because men want to get their little pee-pee wet. So these guys court the ugly chicks, they court the fat chicks, and they lie to them. Hey, girl, you beautiful. I like your eyes. I like your dress. Shorty eyes could be like this. Niggas is still be like, dang, girl, you got some pretty eyes. All because they want some box. So the entire woman's experience of life is a lie. So you think that they won't create coping mechanisms to lie to themselves? Of course they will, right? Of course they will. It's like, wait. I don't want to live in reality at all. Let me go ahead and create this coping mechanism. And that's what she's doing. This is why she's speaking like the way she's speaking. Well, I don't need a man. Like, I'm actually happy that like I have no one that's telling me what to do. I'm actually happy that no. You know what? She's miserable. She's miserable because she's sleeping alone at night. She's miserable because she has no stable man in the house to help her regulate her emotions, to help her regulate her ups and downs. That's like one of the attributes that a masculine man is there for around a woman, because women deal with a lot of demons in their mind. Demons when I mean like a lot of negative emotions. So they need a man there to be like, hey, baby, it's okay. I got you. That, hey, baby, it's okay. I got you. All women want that. Women like yearn for that. And then especially not just the man saying, hey, baby, I got you. Don't worry. But when he actually comes through and deliver and it takes away her worries, this is what all women want. And guess what? This evil devil is not getting that. So she created a coping mechanism so when she's on a camera in 4K, she can speak like it ain't nothing. Well, I'm just actually happy that the man isn't there. You know how many lonely nights she cried dealing with demons? Dealing with demons, stressing out. So all of the things she just said is lies. Lying to her own self. Let's continue on.
But I did just recently fuck a 26-year-old and it was really fucking amazing.
Fuck yes.
Yes.
Okay, so think about this. You're saying that you just had sex with a 26-year-old and it was really amazing. Weren't you 26 before? Weren't you younger than 26 and maybe still dated up and had a man that was 26, which is like, you know, young, especially compared to her? And all of a sudden it's like, oh, amazing. This is how you know it's cope. Because dudes isn't like, ooh, what? It's like, I mean, and actually it's much different for a man anyway, because one, We're not born with our sexual value. We have to create our sexual value to be attractive to the opposite sex. So therefore, we play the game on hard mode. So it's harder for a man to get sex. But she always played the game on easy mode. The thing is, you know what's a win for a woman? Having sex with a younger man isn't a win because that's easy. You can go like anywhere and have sex with a younger guy. Younger guys is like usually they haven't even created any value. So it's like, wait, dang, she about to take me? She's a millionaire, but I got $500 in my account. Let me smash on. Crickets. Let me smash on. So for a younger guy, he's all about that. That would be like an accomplishment for him. But for her, it's not. For her, it's an L. The accomplishment for her would be, well, for her to get a man of value that she loves, admires, and respects. Once again, that she loves, admires, and respects, meaning a man that she looks up to. And not only to get that man, but to keep that man. That's an accomplishment for her. That's something hard for women to do. It's very, very hard for women to get a man that they are attracted to, that they want, that they look up to, that they respect, and actually like keep him, like lock him down. That's hard. For women to have sex, that's easy. So women, and when a woman plays the game on hard mode, that would be that, getting the man that they love, admire, and respect, and locking him down. So she's just delusional. She's dumb. All of these are coping mechanisms that she created. And this podcast, Call Her Daddy, I've never watched this podcast at all, but it is I guess it's like one of the biggest women's podcasts out there. So I'm sure they talk a bunch of garbage like they're talking now. So it's not really interesting to men, at least, I would say. Masculine or conservative men, maybe some blue pill beta simps like this podcast called Call Her Daddy. But anyways, let's continue on.
And I've never done that. And I was like, oh, this is great. Okay.
Let me just say that 26-year-old is the luckiest fucking man walking on this goddamn planet. He's walking different today.
No, he's not walking different today at all. What? He's the luckiest man? Not at all. He got old skins. Like, think about it. Let's just play this out. Let's say you with your friends, you just smashed some 40, you 26 years old, you just got finished smashing some 44-year-old poon. But you with your other homie, you with Byron. Byron just cracked down something that was 22 years old and something that was like fresh. Like she like 22-year-old, like cheerleader type, like everybody want her type, but like ain't nobody really having her type. You get what I'm saying? Everybody want her, but ain't nobody having her. Now you with your friends and you went ahead and talked to your friends like, yeah, man, I done knocked down this 44-year-old, bro. Ain't she a millionaire? You're going to be like, word? Dang, okay, that's what's up. But then when Byron tell you about, man, I done beat Michelle. But you talk Michelle, nigga, Michelle over, nigga, you beat Michelle. What, nigga? How was it, bro? The old poon? Like, niggas still gonna ask if we being honest. Niggas gonna be like, yo, how was the old poon? Like, it was a little dry, but you know how to put some, some baby on that, some Diddy baby oil on that thing. So, slip and slide up in there. But other than that, it was type dry. Like, what's the experience even gonna be like when you in some 44-year-old poon as a 26-year-old man? It's like, yeah, man. And think about this, 44-year-old poon, she done already experienced a lot. Man, it's gonna be like, man, she doing things and I ain't even asked for her to be doing things. Like, it's an unexperienced woman, and having a sexual experience with someone that has less experience it depends on to the man. I would say that. But I would say in a man's view, at least in my view, I'll give you my view, it's better having a sexual experience with a woman that's unexperienced because it's pure. It's like, you actually feel like you conquered something because it's more pure. It was more harder to get Many men didn't get it. So it's like, I conquered this. Many men didn't have it. But if you conquered some old 44-year-old pone, you're like, man, this is, it's like, it's whatever. So to the chick right there that's talking like, oh my gosh, that 26-year-old is the luckiest man ever. You're a woman. Shut up. You don't know what you're talking about.
Knowing. Oh my God.
He for sure is not, but thank you.
No, he is.
Well, the episode's been viewed by nearly 1 million people so far.
Okay, so that's the clip. So now let me bring it back to where we was. Because right here. So now that would give you guys some context of exactly what they're speaking about. So far, Andrew Wilson and Jedediah is cooking them. They're cooking them. The gay man in the middle, he didn't speak at all. But that feminist to the far right, she was speaking nonsense and she didn't want to admit the truth. And so far, Andrew Wilson got the whole panel in a chokehold. Let's continue on.
Charlize Theron, I thought I knew. I'm not saying it's good, bad, or whatever, but I do wonder if it was a male movie star sitting on a sofa, brazenly.
Hold up. He said, one night stand needs to be extended, experienced. Okay. I see what you're saying. I'm just reading a regular chat, so I thought you wanted my input when she said that she had the one night stand. I mean, she lied. She said she had 3 one-night stands in her life. Like, you're lying. Times that by. So when women say something like where they try to like speak about their body count or how many guys that they had sex with, or if they tell you any type of sexual stuff, what you do is you times it by 3 and then you multiply it by 10 and then you subtract 2 just to be safe. So do the math.
Boasting about banging 26-year-olds. How old is Charlize? 50. If a 50-year-old male star was boasting about banging 26-year-old girl.
Oh, she's 50? Man. All right, I'm back. I had to leave for a second. She's not 44. She's 50? Listen, bro, that changes everything. I thought she was in her 40s. Let me Google this chick real quick. Man, she is 50. Listen, that changes it all. In regards to the 26-year-old banging a 50-year-old, he's getting, like, you basically getting made fun of to your homies. This nigga smashed a senior citizen. Listen, in your friend group, you gonna be like, bro, how was that old pone? Did you have to change her pamper? Listen, I'm trying to tell y'all, this was not 44 was pushing it. But listen, when you put them 6 years up and you hit that 50, that 50, it's a big difference. He suffered during that experience. Listen, this wasn't an accomplishment for the 26-year-old. This was like jail time for him. You know how dry that was? Oh, man. All right, let's continue on.
Right, and he was boasting about not needing a woman in his life, not needing a mother, all these kind of things. But in reverse, I don't think you'd be approving of this, Ernest. Tax day has passed, but for millions of Americans, that's where the trouble begins.
Come on, Piers, stop trying to promote your stuff, bro. We ain't got time for that. All right.
About consent and respect. They do it all the time. A lot of older men do it all the time on media, on social media, in interviews.
I was right, chat. I think put a 1 in the chat if I was right that his voice is gonna be just like that. Put a 1 in the chat if I had it pretty close. Put a 2 in the chat if I was way off. 1 in the chat if I had his voice, me mimicking his voice. If I had it almost down pat, put a 1. Put a 2 in the chat if I was way off.
It's not actually an uncommon thing. I think the reason why there's a lot of actual shock and awe over Charlize Theron, because a lot of women actually her age don't feel the liberty to do that on a public facing platform. And so that's why we're talking about her. We don't talk about men who do it often on here because it's so norm. I mean, if you look at who's in politics currently right now, they were just doing it their entire career before they got to the White House. So it's not that much of a shock. You know, there's a guy who got elected president,
and you screamed bloody murder about it
and got elected. And so
and you screamed bloody murder about it. What are you
Ernest,
talking about? Hang on. You liberals said that was the most horrible thing. He was a terrible role model. How could he? And here's Charlize Theron is saying this, and you're like, she's an empowered boss babe, Andrew. Come on.
See, if I talk over him, Piers would be ready to tell me to be quiet and get
you were done talking, dude. You were done talking.
Come on,
I wasn't done talking.
Look, these gays always trying to look, these gays and these feminists, they're always trying to look for some equality. Well, you're talking over me, Piers. Like if I was to do that, you would go ahead and you would go ahead and just, cut me off and to let him speak. But now that he's speaking over me, you're just going to let him speak over me. Piers, like, come on, stop looking for equality. This is a debate. Piers Morgan, Uncensored, he lets people go off. Now he does get in there and he'll moderate, but it was nothing crazy. Get your panties out the bunch. It was nothing crazy.
Actually, can I actually?
Oh man,
you can notice you.
Okay, thanks. So what I was getting at is that there is a double standard. And I think, honestly, like I said before, I don't know what liberal he's talking about, but I was not a liberal that said that Trump talking about grab her by the pussy was the worst thing he ever said, because there's a lot of other things he has said that I believe is far worse and actually should cause more attention. But that being said, I just feel like the only reason why we're talking about it is because women like Charlize Theron often don't do this on a normal. So it feels
okay. Now I'm saying it, bro. I don't care. I'm saying it. I do not care. There's no reason for someone like him to speak. There's no reason for someone like them, meaning him, them, alphabet. Why even have them speak about things that does not even pertain to their experiences? They don't even understand ours. This dude is literally like an alien in the human experience. Literally like an alien. You are a man, XY chromosome, and you fully try to do a change and adopted the woman's, the XY, the XX chromosomes, behaviors and mannerisms and stuff like that. Like what you do for your pleasure is you go into the anal canal where there's feces and parasites and many bacteria. This is disgusting. Why even have you on a platform? Why even have you speak? This is gross. They shouldn't even be speaking. For what? Like what? Think about it. What matter can you actually speak on? Dating and relationships? Can't speak about that. This is heterosexual stuff. Even a clip that they played, this is about that 50-year-old woman. She's heterosexual. She was having sex with a man. You don't know anything about that dynamic as far as heterosexual. You know the dynamic of the booty bandits, which is gross. Like if there's a conversation that maybe would fit you, would be like some prison type, booty bandit type, alien war booty bandit type conversations. Like, who knows, man? It's like, listen, man, you shouldn't even be speaking. We don't even understand you. We don't need to understand you. And we don't care what you got to say.
Abnormal. And that's why we're discussing it.
Okay.
Ernest,
Andrew.
Why do these libs talk out of both sides of their mouth? I mean, look at it. She refused to acknowledge the outcomes for single moms. Pivots immediately.
Let's be clear.
Hang on.
Let's be clear.
Immediately.
No.
Hang on. Immediately.
Do not call me a liberal.
Yeah. Look, I'm sorry. If you have progressive talking points, if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, I call it a duck. So the thing is, right? The libs on the panel very clearly, right? She evades the answer, refuses to give us the answer of if outcomes for children of single moms are worse, refuses. gives us a bunch of qualifiers proving that they are, still refuses to do it. He says, well, this is so commonplace for men. Look at the sexual deviant that we have in the White House, and says, but I'm not throwing a fit about that. I'm not throwing a fit about that, though. Yeah, they did throw a fit about it.
Ineffective discussion. This man is just over everyone. Like, he's very emotional.
It's an ineffective
right
discussion.
now.
I would like you, I would just like you to actually answer the questions I ask you. Why can't you people ever do that?
I have a question for Ernest.
This show anymore, I guess. Go ahead. Sorry.
Ernest, you said there was. Hold on a second, guys. Ernest, you said there was a double standard. What are you, in your view, where is the double standard? Because I see a double standard here, but I think we see a different double standard.
Cool. So what I was saying was the double standard reaction, right? There is a lot of reaction because of what Charlize Theron said. I'm saying that I understand where that is coming from, because we don't often see women like Charlize Theron on these platforms talking about their sexuality in this way.
But it's celebrated. Ernest, that's not true. But here's the difference. Every time, hold on a second. Every time a man says, a guy can't even say that he prefers younger women. He can't even say, well, you know what? I prefer younger women because of their fertility is better, because they're in their peak attractiveness, because I want to have a bunch of kids and it gives me more time, without getting completely trashed.
Let's be clear. Hang on. Let's be clear.
No, that is facts. Jedediah is speaking facts. In today's day and age, like my clips go viral when I'm speaking about, like just giving, red pill truths. As far as male and female intersexual dynamics, like, men, generally speaking, we are attracted to youth and beauty. And then I'll go ahead and explain that. They'll go ahead and label me a misogynist and call me a creep and stuff like that. So, yeah, that is true. But the crazy thing is, right? The fact that this Charlize Theron woman is saying this on a podcast and speaking about her sexual activities, this would show you that it's celebrated, because the woman's natural state is to always be very indirect, to not really tell the things that they have going on in their home or the things that they feel to be like sacred, because the natural state of the woman is to show purity, in a sense, to never be direct, to always usually be like indirect. And that is a state of innocence, right? But the fact that that is the state of like expressing like some maybe like it would show like, she's probably innocent. She's just not like out there. But the fact that this Charlize Theron woman is on a podcast speaking about her one-night stands, speaking about how she's 50 years old and she has sex with a 26-year-old, this would tell you that currently right now in society, this is what's being praised, because she feels comfortable enough to say this, right? The fact that she feels comfortable enough to say this, women never really go outside of their natural state when they're a heterosexual. When they're homosexual, well, they're a sexual deviant. Yeah, they're gonna go outside of their natural state. Or if they like been broken, if like slept around a whole lot or been abused or stuff like that, then if they're broken, then they'll go outside of their natural state. But once again, the woman's natural state is to be indirect, not direct, and to not really give a whole lot of information about their sexuality, because they know that their value is tied to their sexuality, right? Which would tell you, since she's speaking about her sexuality, she feels that this is normal. The reason why she feels this is because the society that we live in is literally praising this type of behavior currently. So, yeah, Jedediah and Andrew Wilson are speaking facts. Let's continue on.
If Brad Pitt came out with an interview tomorrow on Uncensored, and I hope he does. If you're watching Brad, my show is always available to you. But if he was, and he said, do you know what? Just only last week, I had the most unbelievable sex with a hot 26-year-old, right? Do you think the reaction, Ernest, would have been widespread applause for this guy? Or would it have been, you dirty old man? No. I'm not saying that I feel that about Charlize Theron. I'm just saying that's the double standard, right? Leo DiCaprio gets mocked at every award show because he
subject to
dates
ageism.
women half his age.
Multiple. It's not like
Now it's Charlize Theron.
Ooh.
Everyone's like, oh, this is amazing.
Piers.
Men
A
are
man would have been called a
I can give you
groomer.
example. I can give you an example where that backfired. So let me be very clear. So let me give you a good example of this actually. First of all, it's if it's a pattern, right? Charlize Theron is not doing this on the regular. That's why this is a big news story. She's been mostly in long-term relationships. She does not have a habit of doing this. Leonardo DiCaprio's entire a lot of his romantic history has been this pattern, which has become a running joke. The first couple years he did it, no one cared. But it's been decades, like over like
Ernest,
10
that's
years.
not why it's
that's
not why it's a news story. With respect,
That's your opinion.
First of all,
That's your opinion.
First of all, both of those things have been covered in the news. But the reason, what Piers is getting at, I think, I don't want to put words in his mouth. This is being celebrated. Do you understand the difference? Modern feminism has made it so that we now celebrate that Charlize Theron. And by the way, I don't give a lick. Honestly, it's consensual. I don't care if she sleeps with a 26-year-old.
And by the way, there are a lot of 26-year-old men who will be absolutely thrilled that she's on the cougar market.
That's correct.
I mean,
right.
there will be.
And I don't care either. We can agree there. But I'm smart enough to acknowledge that she is being celebrated for that action, whereas a Leonardo DiCaprio or the average guy, for that matter, just saying, hey.
Piers is wrong on that. 26-year-old men is not going to be thrilled and excited at sleeping with a 50-year-old. That ain't how guys work. Not thrilled. They're gonna be like, oh, I get to get my meat wet. Okay, cool. I get to get my meat wet. But thrilled is like, nah. To get some of that dry puss, man, it ain't even that serious.
Hey, I prefer a 22-year-old to a 32-year-old. Will get destroyed in every possible
you know what?
video.
I actually have no problem with what she said about a 26-year-old. That's entirely down to her. She's a single woman. She can have sex with who the hell she likes if it's consenting an adult. I do though have a problem with, and Andrew was, I think, right about this. In a way, what she's saying is that all your quaint ideas about you need a bloke around, you need a father, you need a husband, that's all bullshit. Look at me, I'm proof it's all great. I don't believe women when they say that. I don't believe men when they say the same thing. You know, I just think that actually the ideal is that you have a man and woman around kids and they bring them up together. And if that isn't possible and it doesn't work out, okay, you make it work. But to actually try and pretend this is actually utopia and this is the best possible thing for your kids, I don't think that's true. And I say that as a divorcee myself. I don't think this is ever actually the ideal, but you make it work as best you can. I want to switch gears to something which really did annoy me.
Real quick, I don't know if y'all caught that. The feminist here on the right, the lady with the black hair, she says, well, what about two men? What about two women? Yo, something is wrong with their brains, bro.
Lily Allen, the pop star, former pop star, let's be accurate, talking about abortion.
Abortions, I've had a few, but then again, I can't remember exactly how many.
What, really?
Yeah.
Why didn't this come up in last week's episode where we were just talking about abortions?
Because I was just letting you run with it.
Reveal everything.
I can't remember, yeah. I think maybe like, I want to say 5, 4.
Bro, this is crazy. They're literally celebrating about killing babies. Literally said abortions, I don't know how many. Then the other girl's like, the black woman was like, oh my gosh, really? How many? Well, why didn't you say this before? Like, what? Like, this is the thing, man. We are in a moral war. Moral warfare. At the end of the day, what the libtards did and the leftists and the woke mind individuals, what they did is created an inversion. What used to be right is now left, which used to be up is now down. What was once we called bad and disgusting is now good and delicious. It's like the entire world is upside down. Crazy individuals. Let's continue on.
4, 5?
Yeah, I've had about 5 too. Lily, I'm so happy I can say that and you can say it and no one came to shoot us down.
No judgment.
No judgment.
Bro, she literally just said, I'm happy that I can say that I've killed my children. I'm happy that I can say that I did this. Like, this is good. Like, you know, when they say like history repeats itself, remember, in the biblical scriptures where Pharaoh killed all the Israelites, newborns. It's like that. And, and back in them days, they probably was celebrating like, yeah, we, killed them all. And these women have that same demonic spirit of Pharaoh killing babies, right? It's killing babies. The crazy thing is, with the plagues and everything that went over Egypt, due to God and Moses, really due to God. But we could say that, God did kill Pharaoh's baby and Pharaoh did feel bad, but not really that bad because then Pharaoh still went ahead and got revenge. So, yeah, no, it's a full demonic evil spirit. And these women, these feminist women currently right now that's talking, they share the same spirit of Pharaoh, killing babies. Let's continue on. This is crazy.
About the same amount of abortions.
You know what, Taylor? I'm not going to judge them in the way they think I'm going to judge them. I'm not going to judge them for having abortions. I believe in a woman's right to choose what she does with her body. I know, and we'll come.
Piers, you soft. I'm not going to judge them. See, Piers is one of them individuals where he's a feminist in disguise. And he has no worldview that's grounded. He's not a true individual that stands 10 toes down on the things that he believes in. His beliefs are whatever keeps the dollars flowing in. I'm not going to say anything too off the wall, but I'll say some things that maybe would stick on the wall a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So Piers is all about them dollars.
To Andrew's position on that, I think we know what it is, and I'll get your view. But the point is, Taylor, I'm not against abortion. I am against women that talk about it so glibly. I am against two women sitting there just brazenly talking in a very kind of slightly boastful way. We've had 10 abortions between us, and Lily Allen can't even remember how many abortions she's had. I don't like that aspect to what was going on there. I think it's distasteful. I think it trivializes abortion. Abortion, whether you agree with it or not, you should always treat it, I think, as a serious thing, which should be taken seriously and dealt with seriously. That, to me, was trivializing it. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that, I hear you, Piers, and I take your point. I think that most women have a struggle with access to abortion, especially now here in America. And I think that normalizing the idea of having abortion is overwhelmingly a good thing.
Well, we shouldn't normalize the idea of having 5 abortions with 2 women there basically making out, oh, thank God we can talk about this now. It's like this is normal. That's not normal to have 5 abortions.
It should be normal to have easy access to abortion. It should be.
I don't dispute that, but that's a political matter. That's a social matter for the women. But it's the way you talk about it, I think, is actually, for example, in America, where it's a really hot potato issue, I can imagine everyone, I'll come to Andrew for what I think will be his response. I can imagine it. He'll be very angry because he doesn't agree with abortion to start with. To then see women, high-profile women like this, famous women, just talking about it in such a glib manner.
Because they want to restrict women's rights and they want to restrict women's access to healthcare. This is essential. Abortion is essential healthcare. And I understand what you're saying, but it is healthcare, yes. And it's really important.
Ridiculous.
Too. It's not ridiculous. It saves women's lives in many cases to have an abortion. And it's really hard for women to get access to it. And they feel a lot of shame around it because of the social stigma.
Does it sound, Taylor, does it sound to you like those women feel a lot of shame around abortion? Is that what it sounds like?
The point is that many women are taught, and it sounds like you guys on this very panel want women to feel shame about it. And in fact, they should not.
You shouldn't be. Should you be proud of it? Is the point. I mean, let me bring Andrew in here. I mean, Andrew, I know your position on abortion, but notwithstanding that, it doesn't really concern me really whether people are for or against it. It's the way they're talking about it. I find. So let's
it's
leave the
totally-
argument about whether they.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
But it's totally self-centered and selfish. And look, she says, I'm not a lib. Women need to have more abortions. The thing is or have more access to abortions. She lies through her teeth. It's a healthcare procedure. Most women's lives when they have abortions has nothing to do with the life of them at all, their physical health at all. Total lies from the left. On top of that, let's just point out that what they're really doing there is they're sitting there going, I just like totally murdered 5 of my kids. And the other one's like, yeah, me too. Isn't that great, sweetheart? The other one's like, yeah, totally. That's it's so awesome that we can just kill our children. Isn't that great? And so we normal people, we normal people hear. So anyway, we normal people hear this, like regular Joes, and of course we're disgusted by it. The fact of the matter is it just shows a complete and total lack of caring for humanity, lack of caring for children. This is supposed to be the more empathetic sex, and yet when they have power over vulnerable life, they kill it. Really? You're going to convince me that's the more empathetic, more vulnerable sex? Give me a break.
Ooh, facts. Andrew Wilson was spitting right there. He says, hey, look, this is supposed to be the more empathetic sex, but you're happy and you're celebrating that you are killing children? This is wild, chat. This is wild. And when you think about it, no one mentioned that, well, you're not just killing your baby, women. That's 50% of the man's baby that you're killing too. So just think about that, right? This isn't yours, only yours. It's 50, it's yours and the man that you chose to lay down with. So at the end of the day, it's no, this is evil at the highest level, pure evil. And the thing is, we've come so far in the world where things have been diluted, where these women feel no shame. And one of the reasons why they feel no shame is because we created this normacy about it. It's kind of like normal now, to go ahead and get an abortion and, you can go ahead and do it. And those 2 women that were speaking about it, they look like they felt no shame. They look like they were actually happy and excited about killing their child and another man's child. This is crazy, chat. This is crazy. Get the likes up. Get the likes up now. We're going to take a quick pause for the calls to get through the super chats real quick. And then we're going to go right back to the video. But get the likes up for me. All right, don't go anywhere. We will be continuing the video right after these. We got, let's see here. Let's get to these super chats. And appreciate everyone that's in here supporting. We got Wick Dreams sends in $5. If we do not have free will, then explain gay people. That's right up there with, yes, you do look 29. Let's do member get together in South Florida. You know what, Wick Dreams? We could definitely do that. Member get together in South Florida. I mean, if we're going to do it in South Florida, we could do like an Orlando situation or Miami situation. I think that'd be dope. I see what you're saying. You quoted me from my last debate. When it comes to when I was debating these Hebrew Israelites in regards to free will, it's well, bro, explain gay people. Explain that. Is that God's doing? Is that God's doing? Is it God's controls all of our actions and our behaviors? Is it God's doing to, one, you got to explain a lot of things. Is it God's doing to kill babies, abortion? Is it God's doing to anal sex, male and male anal sex, homosexuality? You got to explain these things. Explain gay people. I was killing dude in a free will debate. And if anyone didn't watch that stream, after this stream, please watch it, because guess what, bro? The Hebrew Israelites, I gave this one Hebrew Israelite a lot of grace. It was a different type of coolie debate. You've never seen a debate like this. I did a full, complete internal critique, and every point that he made was fully refuted. Literally, no point, I let no point go. And sometimes that I'll let some points go, because then I'll just kill him out my conclusion to a bigger point. I'll kill him on a bigger point. So I'll you can have the little point, and then I'll get you on a big point. And that's cool. It's entertaining. But this debate, that I did with this one Hebrew Israelite. It was about free will versus predestination. This man believed that, well, God controls everything down to our mind, down to our actions. Like everything is controlled. We have no free will, but also God still judges us. So the thing is, he has to explain, well, if God controls anything, what's the need for him to judge? If he controls like our actions and stuff, you have to explain the need, like, because then if you have to explain, one, you got to explain the need for judgment, but then you also would have to explain judgment itself, because if you think that God is still going to judge based off he made people do this because he controls everyone, then judgment would have a different definition. Would you change the definition of judgment? No, they don't change the definition of judgment. It's actually still judgment based off of right or wrong. But right or wrong on what? Right or wrong of God's doing because God controlled everything, or right or wrong of our doings? Like, it's just very dumb. A lot of the Hebrew Israelites, I fully exposed them in their worldview. They completely have low IQ. Completely have low IQ. I mean, low IQ all the way down to the point where they would read a script, have a presupposition, insert their presupposition, and then I'll be like, it didn't say that in the Bible. Let's look up the word. It doesn't say control. It doesn't even have a meaning of control. It was a master class debate, a master class internal critique that fully obliterated them. None of them don't want to, and actually that's what I'm going to do. Every time I debate because it's one thing with them, I fully understand the worldview to be able to internal critique them. With feminists, I like fully understand their worldview to be able to critique them. But then there's other debates where I may not have a full understanding, because when you're doing an internal critique, you got to like understand their worldview, or you got to have enough patience to kind of let them speak to get some understanding and then finish them off. So you got to be quick on your toes. But anyways, next super chat, we got Uncle Tiger Sneeze sends in $2. We should have never let them vote. Hey man, listen, bro. Y'all gonna get me canceled in here. We got Fannie Willis Booty sends in $10. It's modern day worship. Never ever get with a okay, yeah, never ever get with a liberal. Yeah, man. It's dumb liberals is you gonna be cruising for a bruising, homie. We got Uncle Tiger Sneeze against his and $5. We can criticize the Muslims for a lot, but at least they've got their women under control. That is true. The Muslim community, they definitely got their chicks under control. Let's continue on. Also, if you have any questions or comments in regards to this video or anything else tonight, go ahead and send in the super chat, man. Donate and support the podcast, and also get the likes up for me.
One little this.
Yeah, Ernest.
I think for me, it's just two things, right? I think that some people will feel like the way in which she went about discussing was tasteless. I think that for people listening to it, I did. I think that there's a better, in my personal taste, right? I think there could have been a better way she could have said it, but that's just my personal preference. And I think that's just how she is with a lot of things. Lily Allen, I don't agree with a lot of things that Lily Allen says or how she says it per se. And I think that's the real thing here. However, what I think is important is that everybody's getting abortions. This whole libs, far left, far right stuff. I really get annoyed with that, because it's almost as if you're acting like only one, like everybody makes decisions based on their political ideologies, and that's just so immature. And this obsession.
We can look at the reproductive.
The libs.
Yeah, we can look at the reproductive stats, and we know which political party's advocating for abortion and which one isn't. We know which political party's advocating for it, which one's not.
I don't come with that. Like, I'm just saying, it's not for me, this is not a libs thing or whatever. It's really just a matter of taste. And that's what I.
But how could it not be?
Like,
how could it not be a liberal?
Completely politically charged.
All right, let Jedediah speak. Jedediah.
How could it not be? If liberals are the ones, I mean, just be honest, liberals are the ones that are promoting a pro-abortion culture. Liberals are the ones that are saying this should be celebrated. The word here, Ernest, hold on a second. The word here to be used is these women are celebrating abortions. And you see young women all over TikTok, by the way, and all over social media who are echoing these voices now. So an abortion is something, whether you believe it should be, it was supposed to be safe, legal, and rare. That was the idea when people were advocating back in the day. Pro-abortion advocates were saying safe, legal, and rare. Does this sound rare to you? Oh, every time I have sex, I just run and get an abortion like I went to the dentist.
Healthcare shouldn't be rare. Access to healthcare shouldn't be rare. Access to healthcare.
Taylor, no one's talking about access. No one. You have access to a whole bunch of things in society. That doesn't mean you utilize them. These are women that are going into
because when you stigmatize abortion, when you stigmatize abortion, it leads to less abortion access.
Murder. When you stigmatize murder, it leads to less murder.
Yeah, but actually, Taylor, that argument works the other way, because if you trivialize it and you look like you're slightly gleeful and you're very proud of having had 5 abortions, as both of them appeared to come over, and
that's facts. If you normalize it, then people are more likely to get abortions. It's just like weed nowadays. Like, since weed is normalized now and it's legal in a lot of states, well, guess what? Kids right after high school, well, whenever you can get your weed license, they're going to go ahead and get their weed medical card, or they're going to go to the doctor and make up any excuse for the weed medical card, because it's a way to it's a loophole to get the weed, because it's legal, but I just got to get my marijuana card, so let me go ahead and go to the doctor and say, hey, I'm suffering with anxiety. Think about it. Easy excuse. Doctor, I got anxiety. The doctor can't go into your head and measure like, oh, well, you are suffering with anxiety. Like, they can't diagnose you and go into your head like, well, wow, I see your brain chemistry and you are dwelling on the future a lot. No, there's no way to see that, right? So they just going to say, oh, yeah, I got anxiety. I'm suffering from that. Here's your medical weed card. It's legal now, right? So, yeah, man, that's just stupid. That was a dumb argument to say, well, if you... if it's not legal, then the rates is going to be higher rates of abortion, because people are going to go out there and get it done where it's going to be unsafe, and they're going to feel the need that they really need to get it. I can't even make sense of it in a sentence. She's just stupid. She sounds like this is Hebrew Israelite logic.
That's the way we can judge them from that clip. They said don't be judgmental. Well, actually you can be when people are apparently trivializing it in the way they were. But I think my point is that the reason Andrew is so exercised is not just because he's anti-abortion, but here's exactly what he's been saying for a long time, which is a lot of women treat it like it's just another thing, when actually it's more serious. And I agree with that. Even though I support women's rights to have an abortion, no one should be like proud or gleeful or joyful.
And the other thing is, right, Chad, people are dumb. Like, some people just don't know how to think. Think about the sexual liberation, right? When women are more sexualized than they ever been before now, from a society and social acceptance standpoint. There were always 304s. Like, even in the biblical days, there was whores out there. But I'm speaking about like from a societal level, American society, where it's like accepted now. Like, literally on YouTube, if you type in transparent cleaning, it's literally like corn on YouTube. It's like this loophole. I actually can show you guys it. Nah, I ain't gonna show you. I'll probably get flagged, but it look wild, man. It's a loophole on YouTube. I was watching a reaction of shout out to Poor Man's podcast. He actually put me on game on this. So I'm like, wow, YouTube actually has this loophole where women can wear transparent clothes. No freaking transparent clothes where like it got like the little holes in it. It's like basically see-through, but it's like a see-through sheet basically. But it's corn, bro. It's corn. It's literally like full-on corn. But the point that I'm making here is, look at all the things that we normalize and that we say, let's be tolerant of these things, like women's sexual liberation, like, smoke, like drinking, like alcohol too. Like, think about all of these things that is degenerate and that can be abused to, like, a lot of things can be abused, of course, but let's just say that it's degenerate. I don't drink, I don't smoke, so I would say that these things would be degenerate in my worldview, at least. But when we legalize these things, well, it would put that, oh, it's normal because it's legalized now. And then when it creates this normacy, so more people do it, because at the end of the day, everyone has ups and downs in their life, and most human beings, they have some type of vice. Even I have a vice. I gotta admit, sometimes I like watching Dragon Ball Z. I'll turn it on and I'll fall asleep watching DBZ, watching Goku do a Kamehameha. I've been like that for many years. So that can be my vice. I only watch it'd be a 30-minute episode right before I fall asleep. Not all the time, but, every now and then, maybe once in a blue moon. Used to do it more, but now it's like every once in a blue moon because I'm super busy. So I can even say that I have a vice, which is DBZ. But people have vices and they're going to, fold to their vices. With this being said, their vice could be smoking weed, it could be drinking, it can be sexualizing yourself as a woman. And guess what? It can be like, think about this. You have ups and downs in your life, and the woman, she gets into a situation, she has sex with a man, and it's like, oh, wow, I had sex with this man. It wasn't a good relationship. He doesn't really like me now. We kind of broke up. And, well, I'm pregnant, so we're not together. Let me go ahead and have this baby. What this does is it gives an excuse. And we have all of these fixed things in society that don't hold women accountable for their poor actions. So once again, all of these contraceptives, women don't have to be accountable for their sexual actions. We got birth control. Think about it. Prior to birth control is like a new invention. 60 years ago, wasn't no birth control. So women had to be very, very serious about the guy that they chose to lay with, because the chances of them getting pregnant would be, there's no birth control, so the chance of them getting pregnant would be high. Even when condoms was around, condoms always break, and at the heat of the moment, sometimes homie don't even put on a condom. So think about this. Before birth control, women would hold more stake in a man that they chose to have sex with, because they know that they will be accountable, because there's no birth control and there's no abortions. There's no plan Bs. So dating and relationships kind of was more genuine, and women wasn't as promiscuous. And if women aren't more promiscuous, then obviously men aren't as promiscuous either, because women hold the key to sex. So if we can decrease the promiscuity of women, we also, by default, we decrease promiscuity in men. But when you give women all of these plan A's, plan B's, plan Z's, it doesn't hold them accountable for any of their sexual actions. So they can have an abort, they can take a plan B, they can use a condom, they can be on birth control, and also they can have an abortion. So it's like, it promotes more sexual deviantness. That's what it does. It just promotes more sexual promiscuity. And it does nothing to promote the nuclear family. It does nothing to promote, values in society and virtues and stuff like that. So it's just dumb. And these women talking about, these two liberals over here talking about, well, no, these things it creates more abortions. How? Getting rid of it, making it illegal? Yeah, we know some people would do some type of backdoor teen mom situation to try to still get an abortion, but it would definitely decrease the amount of abortions. Currently, right now, there are 1 million abortions per year. 1 million babies being killed per year, and that's all by women. So women themselves has decreased the population 1 million human beings just in America per year. That's crazy. They have literally they got so much authority, but no responsibility. So much authority, so much power nowadays with the feminist movement, but no responsibility. And it's time for a change. It's time we change that. Let's continue on.
Or celebratory about it. It should. I just think the tone you use to talk about it should be serious.
Do you understand how that stigmatizing, can you understand how that stigmatizing sort of framework would be used to restrict access to abortion, saying, well, you're not pious enough, you haven't repented enough, you're not sorry enough, so you don't deserve access. That is what is used to strip women's
Taylor,
rights.
it should be stigmatizing. It should be stigmatizing for women to talk about abortion like that. This is sick. This is your empowered women now out there saying, oh, I don't know, I had 4 abortions, 5 abortions, 6 abortions, like you went for a root canal.
You go,
I mean,
girl.
listen, this is not the
Like you went for a root canal? Yeah, Jedediah is spitting facts. Hey, everybody on Facebook, we're going to go ahead and close down a Facebook stream. Come on over to YouTube. That's No Fugazee Podcast on YouTube. Come on over to YouTube right now. The Facebook stream is closing down now. All right, got that taken down, and let's continue on.
face of an empowered woman. This is pathetic. It's sad. And this is the product, sorry to say, this is the product of modern feminism and what it has done to women, that now they weaponize their ability to kill, because that's my view. So I'm going to say it. They weaponize their ability to kill, and they expect society to put a big stamp of approval on it. And people like you do. I'm not doing it. I'm not condoning it. I'm not doing it. I'm calling it out. And if they feel stigmatized by their behavior, then so be it. Maybe that has more to do with their behavior, their crappy behavior, their sick, twisted behavior than it does by what I'm saying about it.
Okay, hold on. Wait. I just want to say this real quick. Let's be real honest here. Even if you personally do not support abortion, you really think that it's a murder, there would be no way, quite frankly, that you want anyone to discuss it. So I think it's intellectually dishonest to act as though we're going to use this extreme of Lily Allen, which I do agree, right? I personally think that the way that Lily Allen discussed it was not the best way. But to be honest, for those who do not support abortion, which I do support a woman's right to choose, there would have never been a way for you to approve it. So you're using the most extreme example as a way to now double down and justify every other belief that you have on this.
That's the dumb.
What? That was the dumbest thing. I'm with Andrew. Wait, what are you speaking about? That's the dumbest thing. He literally said a whole bunch of trash. Well, one, you can still speak about something because, you if you believe in free speech, is like, okay, go ahead and speak about it. But I don't think that it should be promoted. And I think that it should be shamed, right? Like if you're going to speak about certain things that we would consider to be, disgusting. Like I would ask him, you consider, maybe he doesn't, but God dang, I'm asking the wrong person. He's literally a devil in human flesh form. But I was going to say like a pedophile. You would consider pedophile to be disgusting and degrading and a crazy thing to talk about. Like, why would you even speak about that? You would consider that to be like disgusting, right? He would say, oh, yeah, I would consider that to be disgusting. But guess what? There's a lot of shame around it. We do know that there are pedophiles, but since we created so much shame around it, pedophiles don't come out and speak about it, right? Pedophiles are not coming out and speaking about their sexual cravings and attractions for minors. They're not doing that on podcasts because we have so much shame in society towards it. But guess what? This woman is speaking about her killing babies. You know why she's doing it and she feels comfortable to speak about it? Because we have no societal shame on this type of conversation. And not only that, it's legal. So, I mean, I would totally refute his argument very fast, but I'm sure Andrew Wilson is going to get it. Matter of fact, I forgot he's gay. I was about to say Andrew Wilson's about to get in him, but let's not say that. Andrew Wilson, do you think?
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. We talk about murder openly all the time. What are you talking about?
So why are we talking about Lily Allen?
Yeah, so what? We talk about things we don't support all the time. What are you talking about?
So here's what Piers Morgan and I are understanding. So let's make common sense. Piers and I both, I assume, support a woman's right to choose. I don't know, but I think we do. We both do not agree about the taste of how Lily Allen did it. However, I think for some of you all on this episode, you're not going to ever agree with this. So stop acting like Lily Allen is an example of all women who discuss having abortions, because it's not true. You just want to use it as an example to dismiss the case of abortions, period. And so that's
Oh,
the
that's so
reality.
good. Oh, well,
completely-
I see. I see. Hang
here.
on. Let me respond.
That's the
I
reality.
see. What a genius. What a genius argument. Yes, Andrew, you think that all murder and murderers are bad. So you're going to point at serial
Exactly.
killers and say,
You
see
don't
how
think-
bad that is?
you don't
Great
think-
argument, genius.
No, it's a great
it's
point.
Lord.
You would have never
What
said
a,
that.
what a
shameful
wonderful
and
what a wonderful argument.
What's the point
You
of
haven't
having a
responded to his
conversation
argument,
with
so clearly it's pretty good because you have zero
That
response.
was the argument. Do you understand? Do you understand that I can take things that are happening socially, point to the worst of them, even if I don't agree with them, to use that as an example of why it's bad? Why thing bad? Thing
Responded.
bad
You're
because
just
look,
talking
you
and
can see that why thing
crashing out.
bad. Do you not? Why do you not
Crashing
get
out
this?
right now. You're crashing
Right,
out
Ernest,
right
this
now.
is-
here.
this
It's
is an
obvious.
extreme
They
example.
they never liked abortion. They never.
Yeah, when people have nothing, no rebuttal, they just say that you're crashing out. You're crashing out right now. Shut up.
This is an
It was so
whether you
quick to have
like
this conversation
abortion,
about Lily Allen.
whether you support abortion or not, we're not making up this extreme example. This extreme example exists, and we're commenting on it because there were women all over the country, by the way, that will say things like, my body, my choice, who cares?
See, Piers, you need me on this panel because my argument was top tier. I would have been like, okay, well, do you speak about P-files? Do you speak about P-files? And you did like, no. Why would we speak about that? I'd be like, do you really ever hear people speak about P-files? No, and if they did, that would be gross. I think that they should be canceled and all of this type of stuff. I'm like, you know why they don't speak about P-files? Because one, it's a lot of shame around it. And two, it's not legal. But guess what? There's no shame around abortions. And two, abortion is legal. This is why these women have no shame and they're just speaking about it like it's another day, like they're speaking about the weather. Oh yeah, I just killed 4 of my babies. Oh, is it gonna rain today or is it gonna be cloudy? Like what?
Oh yeah, and you know what? It's escalating down to other things like Plan
No, it's
B.
not.
People popping Plan Bs like candy now.
They've been
This stuff
doing
is
it.
not being taken seriously.
Yes.
And the
So it's
bottom line
good
is
because
whether
they've
you
done it.
support abortion or not, this is a serious matter. And the fact that we have women out there talking about it like a trip to the dentist, that is a problem that we need to acknowledge.
Yeah,
and figure
I
out
gotta
what's
say,
I have to say,
I agree with that. I don't think that the way they spoke about it did them any credit at all. And I think it actually, if I was somebody who was against abortion, that would have really enraged me to see people who have access to free and fair abortions because they're in a country where it's fine, but they talk about it in such a glib manner. I don't like it. Let's just change gears to something else, which is just struck me as a bit odd. So I think Taylor, you said earlier that women, about Charlize Theron, women don't get paid as much as men. In fact, it's just been revealed by the Hollywood Reporter, the Hollywood Bible, that the biggest grossing movie star ever is Scarlett Johansson, which I'm told, staggering though that may seem, and I'm a bit surprised myself because I've appeared in 10 movies as myself, and those movies have grossed $2.4 billion. So I'm a little surprised I'm not in the mix myself. However, she's bigger than Tom Cruise, bigger than Stallone, bigger than Schwarzenegger, bigger than all of them. And the reason apparently is the Avengers. She's been in the whole Avengers stuff, which obviously, and Jurassic Park and other huge grossing films. But she's moaning, as obviously, when you get an accolade like this, the first thing to do is to complain about it, that she's often been cast for sexist reasons. So Andrew, I'll come to you on this. When promoting, I think Jurassic Park Rebirth movie came out this weekend. She said, when I was younger, a lot of the roles I was offered or I went for had their ambitions or character arcs revolving around their own desirability or the male gaze or a male-centered story. That's less frequent, though. Something has shifted. This idea that we might go to the movies to look at beautiful people, that males may gaze at beautiful women. Is this the most shocking bombshell of the week, Andrew?
Also, it's not just that. Like, how stupid to admit that out loud. Basically, aren't you just admitting that you were a skank for money? Like, if it was really a big deal, you're like, oh, God, the male gaze, they're sexualizing me. Why would you take the role then? Just don't take the role. But apparently, if it pays good enough, she must not mind too much about that whole male gaze thing, huh? Because when it came time for her to collect those millions of dollars based on the male gaze, she definitely took the role. So I would like her to give an explanation for that. Male gaze bad, but I like to contribute to it as much as possible for money. Aren't you just basically admitting that you're a Hollywood prostitute at that point? Like, if it's a conflict with your values, aren't you selling out for money, literally?
Well,
like,
Taylor,
how's
your
that not
eyebrows just
another
nearly
form of
exploded, so
prostitution?
clearly you don't agree.
This is fact. Shout out to Andrew Wilson on that take. That is facts. The male gaze, women like to complain about, even in a gym. And I know you guys seen some of these videos on TikTok where women would be wearing the littlest shorts in the gym. The tiniest little shorts with like a little bra strap, basically, little sports bra. They pretty much in underwear, bro. So women go to the gym in underwear, and you could just search this on TikTok. These women would have their like phone somewhere and record a man, and the man would be, I guess it'd be guys looking at them in the gym, and then they'll make a reaction complaining like, guys are so nasty. All they do is just like look at you and stare. Like, what are you looking at and staring? Don't you have anything better? Don't you have like better things to do than like to just like look at a woman and sexualize me? You dumb whore. A man can't sexualize you if you don't sexualize yourself. See, the last super chat says something about the Muslims, and the Muslims know this. They know that, well, men, we tend to fall in love with our eyes. Women fall in love with their ears. So since men have this, we're very visual creatures, we're going to make our women wear hijabs. They got to cover up. They got to cover up their curves. They got to cover up their hair. They have to cover up. We're not going to sexualize our women. So the byproduct of that is, well, men aren't going to sexualize them either. If they don't sexualize themselves, men can't sexualize them. Now you can try to conjure up some thoughts like, dang, that thing probably moving in that hijab. But at the end of the day, then you're just a perverted individual. Like the very weird perverts would do that. But you're not even gonna, it's hard to conjure up some nasty thoughts when a shorty got a sheet over her own body. What thoughts could you conjure up? So it's crazy that women would utilize the male gaze and demonize it. So they'll point out that men are looking at them sexually, but they'll demonize it, meanwhile not taking any accountability because they are the ones that's promoting themselves being sexual, which is why men are viewing them in a sexual way. So for Scarlett Johansson, that woman to say something that's stupid, that's dumb. She literally chose a role where she's in the tightest suit. No one else's suit was as tight as Scarlett Johansson. No one else in the Avengers, in Marvel. Bro, did anyone else have a tighter suit? Nah, man, that thing was skin tight. Look, skin tight. It was skin tight. You seen all the curves. But then now she's complaining the male gaze, men sexualizing me. Andrew was speaking facts. Well, guess what? It must not be a big deal because you accepted that role. You put on those clothes and you got that bag. It wasn't a big deal because you wanted the money. And you know what? She sexualized herself in many other roles too, to an extent, right? So why didn't you complain about it then? I didn't hear you complaining about it then, right? So it's these girls are just dumb, bro. They just it's you know what it is? It's a coping mechanism. Women, like I said before, they like to create these coping mechanisms because they like to seem virtuous. If there's one thing about women, it's all they always try to claim this virtue. They like to present themselves as being virtuous and good. You know what I mean? Men, we different. We be like, yeah, they got messed up. Yeah, I was broke last year, but I'm up now. You know what I mean? Men, I done smashed a fat John. I done smashed a homeless chick. It was a dry Saturday night. Guess what? She was on the street. I was on the street too. Not me, but men would admit to these things. Men do things. And they're just yeah, men are okay to tell their L's, but women, they don't like to tell their L's. So I say all of that to say she knows the reason why she chose these movies that is showing her curves and wearing things that's skin tight, but she doesn't want to take accountability. So to escape accountability, she'll cope and then blame the man. Well, I could do whatever I want and sexualize myself, but you can't sexualize me. I can sexualize myself, but it's not okay for you to sexualize me. So no, I don't need to take accountability, but you need to take accountability for me sexualizing myself. This is all women's coping mechanism, bro. Let's continue on.
Agree with that.
I think it's just shocking the disgusting misogynistic way that Andrew can't help but talk about women. I mean I would say also, by the way,
a woman?
No, women generally
A
seem
woman?
to have.
No, I'm sorry. It's not a monolith. If I can critique a woman,
God.
that's not critiquing
Let me-
all
you're
women.
not
You see how that
highlighting a
works?
woman's
Speaking
right
all
now.
libs, the whole show.
Yeah.
All libs.
No, these libs. These libs are
Guys,
not all
I'm
libs. You see
not
how
a
that
lib.
works?
Oh my God, it's so crazy how
Oh yes,
you
you're
guys
a lib, lady.
everyone that
Oh, yeah.
doesn't like you don't
You just so
like is a
happen to
lib.
be liberal on every social policy, but you're not a
Liberal.
liberal. Huh?
Liberals are hardly where I'm at on social issues. Anyway, my point is that Scarlett Johansson, Piers, I don't know that I would classify that quote as moaning. What she seems to be talking about is just how her roles have changed over time. I would note that overwhelmingly women are paid less than men, even though the highest actress might be paid as a woman. But I think that what she's saying is it's not a myth that women are paid less. I'm sorry.
Equal pay myth that we can, I mean, that's a whole separate conversation.
I think in
That's a
Hollywood
myth.
now it's pretty well equal pay, isn't it? If you get the big roles.
Yeah, the whole women make 83 cents to every dollar or 86 cents to every dollar that a man makes. That is a myth. It's been debunked many times. I don't have to even debunk it. I'm sure Andrew or Jedediah will debunk it. Or I don't even think it'll come to that because that's just stupid.
I don't think.
I think. I think
in music, most of the biggest stars now are currently women, aren't they? Beyonce, Taylor Swift.
Right, but
I mean,
if you
I don't know. I can't think of many industries where women are not actually paid at least or more than men.
Just because there are a few very high paid women in entertainment industries doesn't mean that women across the board make more than men. And when you look at other industries like finance or tech or some of these other,
that's because listen, Taylor, this is nonsense. That's because of choices that women make. That's because of the number of hours that they work. That's because women take maternity leave. That's because guys work more hours and work harder. There's a whole bunch of reasons we can get into that relate to
we actually can adjust it for parity easily.
And that's crazy that they really believe that the wage gap is a thing. They don't think that it's wrong. It's been debunked many times. And this would allude to just low IQ. The two feminists on the panel, they just suffer from low IQ. These are two low IQ individuals. And when you're even thinking about it, like logically in regards to, and because she said things, she says, well, when it comes to, like STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, like all of this is choice. Like women are fully in the workforce. Women make up 46% of the workforce? 46 or maybe even maybe it's 50-50 now, but the last time I looked it was like 46% of the entire workforce that women make up. But they choose to go, it's by choice. They are choosing to go into fields that just pay less. Women are social creatures. So guess what? They want to be therapists. They want to be like, if you actually ask these two individuals up here, what's your degree in? It'd be like gender studies. Gender studies? What job are you getting gender studies? It'd be like communication, something like some social type of degree, right? And some like social liberal type of degree. And then like, where are you going to find the job at other than being on like CNN and talking some nonsense? So no, women get paid less because they choose to go into fields that just pay less. And even at Google, studies would show at Google where when you look at the males and females that get paid there, it actually showed that women got paid more at Google. So like these chicks are just wrong. And in Hollywood, man, listen, Hollywood been woke for a while. Hollywood been woke for a while now. I'm sure women, matter of fact, I just seen a show. I had to turn it off. It was actually The Old Guard. that this Charlize Theron woman played in. It's on Netflix. It's called The Old Guard. The Old Guard 2. I watched The Old Guard 1, and this is one of the movies where it's I'm actually going to bring it up for you. I'm actually going to show y'all this. So y'all know what I'm talking about. It is replace sharing. Let's go ahead and share this one. I'm talking about this one right here. Let me make it bigger. So The Old Guard, this is what that chick plays in. The actor who they're talking about now, this Charlize Theron chick or whatever, she played in this. And anytime you watch an action movie and the woman is plays the lead role, it's like, come on, man, this is a complete fairy tale. They be trash. I'll say some action movies where a woman played the lead role, I ain't gonna hold you, like Underworld, with the Lycans and the werewolves and the vampires, that was all right. Like some of them be okay where the woman plays the lead role and it's action, but it's like, all right, we know this is a fairy tale anyway. It's fantasy land. This isn't real, but all right, cool. Some of them can kind of pass, but it's still a little weird where you see this little 5'2" woman beating up men. And if she doesn't have any superpowers and she's beating up men, oh man, that's crazy. So let me explain real quick. Old Guard 1, she had powers. She was immortal. She had powers. So for when she was beating up men, it was like, okay, well, she's immortal. She's stronger. It kind of fits into the storyline. In Old Guard 2, it just came out on Netflix. And guess what? She lost her powers. She got no powers, but she's still beating up men. I'm like, what? I had to turn it off. I turned it off. I turned it off immediately. I'm like, bro, she has no powers. How is she walking in the room and beating up all of these men? This doesn't make any sense. This is dumb. I turned it right off. I was like, oh, the feminist movement. I hate y'all. Y'all ruin movies. Y'all always ruin movies. But anyways, in that movie that's on Netflix, everybody was gay. So she's gay in the movie. I didn't know that she was gay in the first movie. It didn't talk about her sexuality, but in the second movie, she's gay. Then all the other actors are either homosexual, like the men are homosexuals, and the girls are lesbians. Like the guys are gay and the girls are lesbians. It's crazy, bro. Like there's no straight character in Old Guard 2. So if you was planning on watching that, don't waste your time. It's big trash. All right, let's get back. Let's get back. Where we at? Okay, we right here.
Can I make a comment about Scarlett, though, here for a second? Because I think what's interesting here is that, listen, she made all of her money being a sex symbol, right? She always had the boobs out. That's how she made her money. She made the decision to accept roles where, yes, she was, part of the male gaze. And that's how she made her fame. I find it really interesting, honestly, that she turns 40. She's older. And now all of a sudden she decides, oh, I'm going to negate all that. Could it be that maybe she's, the male gaze isn't looking at her
the wall
in the
is
same way
undefeated.
anymore. She's not getting those roles anymore. And she's now realizing there's a younger woman on the block. There's a hotter woman on the block. Okay, I'm not getting those roles. So
and he's, by the way, to complete
I made all my money.
To complete the conspiracy theory, is that why Charlize
Jedediah spitting facts right now.
Theron, at the age of 50, has gone out doing podcasts talking about banging 26-year-old guys? Could that be why? Is it to make Hollywood think I'm still hot and desirable?
I've still got it. Yeah,
I've still got the young male gaze.
Of course, because there is an insecurity, and women don't like to talk about this, but there is an insecurity that arises in women, particularly in a beauty-driven industry. Hollywood is all about looks. It's all about the female gaze, the male gaze. You see,
it's misogyny that puts that pressure on women.
That's not hatred of women. Taylor, do you know what misogyny means?
Bruh. The liberals always saying it's misogyny. That's because of misogyny. Misogyny is the hatred of women. How is the hatred of women just because in Hollywood prioritizes beauty? How is that hatred of women when women themselves want to be beautiful? That doesn't even make any sense. So Hollywood is misogynist because they are prioritizing beauty in regards to men and women, and somehow it's misogyny. Crazy. She just says anything. Low IQ.
It means hatred of women. It is not hatred of women to talk about the reality that women, I'm a woman, I'm not a misogynist. Women get more insecure as they age about their looks when they're in a beauty-driven industry. That's why Botox exists. That's why filler exists.
And that's the thing with these liberals, that once again, when they can't make an argument, they'll just go ahead and make a personal attack and call you a name. Oh, well, like she says, well, you are insinuating that Jedediah is a misogynist, right? Jedediah's like, well, I'm a woman. I'm not a misogynist. And then she says, well, you are. So since they can't refute the argument, they'll just go to making personal attacks, and not even good personal attacks. They'll just call you names like you're a racist, you're a bigot, you're a misogynist, you're this, you're that. Like, no, I'm saying something. Actually respond back with an argument. Don't just say anything. It's just dumb.
Let me go to the expert on the panel when it comes to male gazes at beautiful women. Ernest, your thoughts on this?
Oh man, Piers, I know you was being funny, but don't even allow this gate. Matter of fact, I don't want to get canceled. Let me stop. Go ahead.
No, I mean, to be honest, I think that two things can be true at the same time. You know, people have the right to evolve and also see things reflectively. What you do in your young age, I mean, heaven forbids, I mean, you all claim that you all don't support cancel culture, but, you know, a lot of you all would make the case that maybe she did at one point in time when she was younger, may have thought that's what she needed to do and that's how she got her career. But maybe years later, she can get older and reflect and say, hey, some of the stuff I did back then.
And by the way, Ernest, it's the same. It's the same with men, right? I mean, it's the same with male movie stars. When they cross a point where the female gaze moves from them to a younger, hotter model. It's exactly the same the other way around. You look at it all the time. Look at the hot movie male stars of 20 years ago. They're not there anymore.
Right, but the difference is, though, with those roles, that's actually not true all the way. A lot of these older men do get to evolve and date younger women. What we don't see that much in Hollywood.
No, I mean female moviegoers going to see male movie stars. The reason they go moves from the female gaze at a hot young movie star to something different when they get older, right? So it's in other words, it works the same way.
That is facts. It does work the same way. And what the gay dude was about to say was, oh, well, no, I think that, you know, those older guys, they still can date younger women. And guess what, gay dude? You are right. That's because attraction isn't symmetrical. Those younger girls, well, they like the qualities that the older guys has, like money, like, you know, their life experience, right? Women normally want a man to have some life experience because they want to be able to feel safe with a man. So a man that overcame adversities and stuff like that is more likely to handle her adversities, at least have the ability to handle her adversities and provide her some safety and security. So women like experienced men, but guess what? Attraction isn't symmetrical. So men like inexperienced women. This is why women generally would date up and men would generally date down. And the gay guy didn't know that. So his little argument was not going to map on properly because it was talking about just the attraction of the males and females and how Hollywood, when men do get, that is facts. Like if you look at James Bond movies, once James Bond hits a certain age, it's a wrap for him. You got to get another Bond. You got to get another Bond, one that can, you know, that's physically in shape enough to get around, and one that doesn't look like he belongs in a wheelchair and in a senior citizen's home. That's just how it is. That's just an example. James Bond will be an example. And then there's many other movies as well. Even if you look at Iron Man, right? Like one of the reasons why Iron Man isn't in Marvel, he's not continuing that same role because he was getting older. So it's like, okay, we got to like go to the multiverse now and get some more characters from the Marvel universe in, but they're still going to use Iron Man, the actor at least, but in another role in the new Avengers. He's going to be, what's the guy from Fantastic Four? The bad guy in Fantastic Four. Anyways, you guys know what I'm speaking about. But yeah, it happens all the time with men and women. As you get older, depending the roles that you can get, well, those roles you're not going to be able to get. And it makes common sense because certain roles are like age specific, meaning that you need to have this type of look. And sometimes a lot of roles is even weight specific. Like in the new Superman movie, the actor talked about him having to gain 40 pounds for the role. So obviously he had to bulk up. He had to get some more muscle for that movie. So to play the role of Superman. So no, these directors and writers, movie producers, they look for specific people to fit a specific role. And guess what? Scarlett Johansson, she's getting older now. So those little young roles that she can get, those action roles and, the roles that is showing like a lot of beauty and stuff, she probably doesn't qualify for those roles right now in many movies. So they're looking for someone that's hotter, younger, and tighter, right? Let's continue on.
But that's not the same, though. They can get a range. What I think that happened with Scarlett Johansson, a lot of these actresses, is that what you'll see with men is that they can do both. They can do the Oscar-winning Leonardo DiCaprio films, and they can also do the sex symbol films. They can also do it simultaneously and still get the awards. Versus what we see with women.
Just hush. You know why men can still get the awards? Because men are better actors than women. They just are. Bro, men are better actors than women. I mean, if you look at actresses versus actors, like Jamie Foxx, homie went from, he can play Mike Tyson, he can play the dude that's blind, Ray Charles. Him on Ray Charles was crazy. You look at many other actors that can play many other roles, as far as like men at least, it's like, it's not even a comparison. Like men are just, when you look at the best of things, it's men. Even if you look at like cosmetology, like hair and makeup, it'd be the gay guys, men. That's the best. Like all of these celebrities, the people that's doing these celebrities' hair and their makeup, the majority of them be like some gay dude that's doing their hair. Like, so even in the fields that we would think that women would dominate at and women would be the best at, men are still the best at. When you look at chefs, like women, you was made to be in the kitchen, created to be in the kitchen. Hey, listen, God said you are the helpmate to the man. You are his helpmate. That means he's going to be out there hunting and gathering, and you're going to be in that kitchen cooking. And guess what? They still not the best cooks. When you look at the best chefs in the world is men. So even the fields that they supposed to be the best at, that we would say like, dag, like you're a woman, so you should be the best at this. It's not to say that women aren't good in things. No, they are good. But it's like, it's a bell curve. Like if you look at like the best and the worst, men are normally like the best at things, like ultimate best, like the smartest, the greatest inventors. And then if you look at the other side of the bell curve, like men are normally the dumbest and the brokest and, stuff like that. So yeah, even when you look at, it was another example I just had. What was it? So I had cooking. I had, it just slipped my mind. Cooking. It was the movie roles. Well, what else was it? It was right on the top of my mind. I don't know. I'll think of it and I'll come back.
Hollywood, it seems to be a double standard where prestige films that they can be in and star in, oftentimes they don't get the chance to be the ingenue or play into the sex role. But if they do go that way, they can't have both ways. So Denzel could be both. But Scarlett Johansson couldn't do both most of that.
Okay, yeah, but why? Okay, but why would you complain then? Why would you complain and say, the male gaze is so terrible, and then take the role as a woman? Why would you take the role if the male gaze is such a problem for money?
She should just own it.
Hang on. Let him answer the question. Why is it that if you really saw this as a problem from a feminist view, the male gaze, as a female actress who's aspiring, why would you take the role? Aren't you just selling out for money, dude?
I mean, I'm not a woman, so I'm not the one taking the role, but I'm saying something like I'm saying
Okay,
before.
see how they don't answer any questions? They just refuse
No,
to.
I'm answering your question. Did you not let me finish?
Yeah, they don't answer any questions. But I remembered. So when it comes to men even out competing women at the things that they're supposed to be good at, like when it comes to, cooking, which like if we're comparing chefs, men are the best chefs. When it comes to hair and makeup, the gay guys, they are killing it in that industry. They're better than the best women that's out there. But then we all know this, even when you look at, children, single moms versus single fathers. Guess what? Single father households statistic shows that single father households do just as good as two parent households, but single mother households do worse than two parent households, and the children does worse than the single father household. So even when it comes to raising children, single-handedly, men are better from a statistical standpoint. That's crazy, man.
I'm answering your question. What I'm saying is that you, at the end of the day, it's none of these things, like even the way that people vote for certain elected officials, it's never one size fit all. She has survival. She wanted to get her career. She wanted to do certain things. Does she have regrets? I don't know. But what I will say is that
sold out?
there's a lot of factors that people do when they make their decisions, right? There's certain people where you don't agree with everything on all aspects, but you do some. And I think at a certain point,
seems,
that
Ernest,
what happens.
I hear what you're saying, Ernest. It just seems a little convenient, though. It just seems a little convenient to make all of your money off of being a sex symbol and an overt sex symbol. I mean, half naked, this, that. You make all your money that way. You should own it. She should be coming out and saying,
I totally agree. I think I think that the women I admire in the entertainment world are the ones who are smart but are unafraid to say, I use my sex appeal and it makes me tons of money, as well as my smarts, as well as my talent. It's a whole package. Same with the guys, right? If you're a hot movie star who's got talent, you're going to make more money than an ugly one. It's as simple as that. It's not fair. Life isn't fair.
Hollywood's not fair.
I want to end. This was a bizarre moment last week in the House.
Yeah, those liberals are so mad. They're like, wait, well, life isn't fair. What do you mean life isn't fair? We should strive for it to be fair. Double standards, it shouldn't be any double standards. We have to get rid of all of this. These liberals don't understand human nature. They don't, because you know why? It's what their presupposition is incorrect. And this is what I learned when debating these Hebrew. I mean, I've learned this already, but when you're debating certain people, if their presupposition is wrong, what they presuppose to be right, if that is incorrect, their entire worldview and how they look at the world and their arguments that they're making is most likely not going to be true. It's not going to be correct. So these feminists, how they view the world, what they presuppose that men and women from a biological standpoint are basically interchangeable widgets. There's no difference between a male and a female, really. They don't really think there's a difference. This is why they think that, transgenderism is okay. A man can be a woman and a woman can be a man. This is why they believe in, all of these genders, 3,200 different genders nowadays, right? Because the things that they presuppose is not rooted into reality. So therefore, when you speak truth to them, it goes in one ear and out the other because their presupposition is just all wrong. This is why, I'm totally for free speech and everything like that. But, I think, this is just me speaking, when God comes back, when Jesus returns, he's going to be like, don't speak. The conservatives are people in their right mind. Probably the logical people probably get a chance to speak and, hey, God, how are you, Jesus? Stuff like that. But the liberal, don't speak. Don't speak. Shut up. I don't want to hear you. I already been hearing you this whole time because I know the end. I know the beginning and the end already. I've been already hearing you. in real time, but now I'm here and I got don't speak. Nah, that ain't how it's gonna be, but I'm playing. But anyways, man, let's continue on. Hey, like the podcast. If you like the stream, if this is entertaining, like the podcast, get the likes up. Do this for me now. And we'll pause in a little bit to get to the super chats. If you have any questions or comments for me, go ahead and send in a super chat. I'll go ahead. I'm reading all super chats today. So support the channel. Let's go.
House of Commons here in the United Kingdom. So just for background, we have a woman called Rachel Reeves, who is the first female Chancellor of the Exchequer. So the second most powerful person in the British government, the treasurer, if you like, of the United Kingdom. And she did the one thing which I guess most women who had voted for her would have wished she hadn't done, which is at the weekly Prime Minister's questions with Sir Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, she was openly crying in the background. Now, this followed a very bad week for the government, a very bad week for her. One of the signature policies that had to perform a big U-turn on. She apparently been seen having a blazing row with some colleagues and with the Speaker of the House. She then came out the next day grinning like a Cheshire cat, a little too much for my credible belief, and said that there was a personal issue going on, the details of which have not emerged, and I suspect they won't. Andrew, the problem I have with this is that I think a lot of women will have felt let down, that you finally get a female Chancellor of the Exchequer, and within a few months she's crying in the most high-profile televised moment of each week in the House of Commons, and it looks like it's just because she had a bad week.
Well, gee, who could have predicted this? Who could have predicted that women who are in positions of power may act overtly emotional just based on, well, even the hormones in their body? I am so stunned. I'm shocked. I can't believe that women everywhere are stunned and shocked that women, when they become very emotional, begin crying. It's no shock to me, of course. No shock to anybody else on this panel.
Let me ask Jedediah.
Inside of your leadership,
Jedediah, as a woman,
scale,
all right, Jedediah, as a woman, are you comfortable with what you're hearing from Andrew there?
Hey, Piers, you got to go ahead and let him get it out, though. But yeah, Andrew was speaking facts.
I actually am comfortable with it, to be completely honest, because the truth is that men and women are different and we are emotional. And I kind of wear the fact that I have an emotional cycle that goes like this throughout the month, like we all do, like a badge of honor, because it's what makes me a woman. The thing is, you can't be in a leadership position and act like that. As an example, do y'all remember John Boehner? John Boehner was a disaster. He was always crying. So this is not exclusive to women. Let's just say that this can happen.
I totally agree. If this had been, I think if it had been a man, a male Chancellor of the Exchequer crying, he'd have got whacked.
Yo, Piers, let them spit, man. Why you keep cutting people off?
It's even more.
Well, that's the difference, because if you remember,
Howard Dean got ran out for a
memes,
scream. I mean, come on.
People were making fun of him all the time. He was the laughing stock. The difference is here, a lot of people jump and make excuses. Well, she had a bad day. Honestly, I don't care that you had a bad day. You're in a leadership position. I mean, the bond market had a sell-off because this woman was crying.
Yeah.
These have real ramifications. So I think what Andrew's getting at is, listen, men and women are different. And it does beg the question, if we are naturally more emotional, and we are by nature.
Women are not.
We are.
No, they're not.
Listen,
yes, they are.
Look at how
we
Yes,
told
they
them.
are.
All right, Taylor, I have a question for you. Taylor, if Donald Trump's bottom lip began to tremble and he started crying on national TV, when he was addressing the Congress or something, I mean, come on, you'd absolutely murder him.
He's having tantrums every week. He's having emotional
meltdowns. He isn't crying.
Give me a
break.
break.
That's not the same thing.
Have you ever seen Donald Trump cry?
The crazy thing is what feminists do and weak-minded individuals that don't live in reality, they conflate passion is an emotion, but they conflate like crying with showing passion, like, oh yeah, you guys watch my stream when I do debate sometimes and it's for entertainment value, but I'm passionate. I'll be, yelling at someone like, bro, what are you talking about? You're stupid, da 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 da. And I'm doing that for entertainment value, but then also sometimes I'm doing it because I'm passionate about what I'm speaking about. And then I'll be debating some feminists. They're like, well, Cooley, you seem emotional. No, I'm not emotional. It's a form of an emotion, but I'm not emotional, right? So I'm not emotional, but am I showing an emotion? Yes, I am showing a emotion. But it's they can conflate everything.
Cry in public.
Okay, I'm not talking about crying. If he listen, here's the thing. Andrew does not like women having any type of emotion outside of nodding their head.
What are you
shaking their
talking
head.
about? What are
Listen,
you talking about?
No, he is retarded. He just said Andrew doesn't like any woman having an emotion. No, Andrew is aware, like myself and any logical man, we are aware and we understand that men and women are different. So we understand women's emotions. And when a woman is emotional, that's what we would expect. So it's like nothing new, right? So it's like, yeah, like Andrew said, this woman is in a leadership position and she's crying when things get a little bit overwhelming. Well, of course, we expected her to cry. She's a woman. She's losing it. She's having an emotional meltdown right now, which this is not a good trait for a leader. This is why she shouldn't be in this position, what Andrew was alluding to. But it's like, this doesn't mean that we don't want the woman to cry. No, if I'm in a relationship with a chick and she don't cry, there ain't no chick. You got to check her chromosomes. And I know people in the chat like, Cooley, why you say chromosomes like that? Man, because that's how I pronounce chromosomes, man. I'm from the hood. At the end of the day, I ain't perfect. I don't pronounce everything right. But, I am practicing to get a little bit better with the way I pronounce words. But anyways, it's like, yeah, if you're dating a chick and she doesn't have any emotions, it's like, yeah. And truly, when you think about it, women that's very logical, bro, them be the biggest whores. Them be the biggest whores. Did you see the interview with Bonnie Blue and Andrew Tate? She's logical. She's like logical to the fact where it's like, why you're having logical but dumb, right? She's logical but dumb. Yeah, she's having sex with, I think she had sex with like 1,500 men or 1,050 men in a day or something like that. Something crazy, right? And she did this all for money. Like, oh, if I'm going to do it, think logical about it. I already like doing it. I'm a whore anyway. Let me go ahead and do it. But anyways, like usually the logical chicks be whores. And pay attention, chat. I'm going to break this down to you. And it's not all, but I do see it. Because not only that, I do a podcast. I've had over 700 women on my podcast, on my dating show. And on my dating show, I've had many girls that do OnlyFans. I had corn stars and I had many strippers. I don't think I've done an episode, man, maybe like my last 20 episodes, I had at least one stripper. And then I do episodes where it's like at least 2 or 3 strippers. Bro, most of the time, the strippers or the ones that have a very like promiscuous past or currently promiscuous, they're like logical in a way, where meaning like logical where they understand male's nature, they understand their own nature and stuff like that. Don't really got to argue with them too much about the body count, unless like they suffer from the woke mind virus. Then yeah, you got to argue with them about like body count and like little silly things. But usually the promiscuous chicks be a little bit more logical than the other chicks. And one of the and once again, this isn't all, but this is some, I would say. Some promiscuous chicks be very logical. And the reason I think it is because when you've come so far, when you've came to the point of like, you know what, I'm going to, because mind you, some of these girls, they ain't just like doing it because like, oh, like they're broke and I need some money. No, some of them be doing it because it's like, well, I'm doing this, but I'm also a nurse. Oh, I'm doing this and I'm also doing that. And I'm also having all of these other jobs because they're like chasing a bag. But here's the breakdown. The women that operates in their emotions, it's a, let's say, how can I word it? It's like a warning. Emotions for a woman is a warning mechanism to keep them away from being promiscuous in a sense. I'll explain. You're probably like, wait, Cooley, what are you talking about? A woman being like overly emotional is actually is like a warning mechanism to keep them from not being so promiscuous. Because when a woman is so emotional, think about this. When a chick is so emotional, it's hard to get her to hang out. Like, guys, speaking of chat, guys, y'all know what I'm speaking about. The single guys. If you spinning plates and stuff right now, you know that if a chick is in an emotional state, she's going to flake on a date. If a chick is in an emotional state, hard to get her to hang out with her. She got a lot of other things on her mind because she's going through this, she's going through that. If the chick is on her period, hard to even get her outside to hang out with her. So the woman's emotions kind of keep them safe from being so promiscuous. It's when the woman is not in an emotional state and she's just promiscuous, that's the dangerous part. It's like, dang, chick, because if you get the chick and she's emotional and you end up, having a night with her, man, that could have been a vulnerable time. So it's twofolds. The emotional chick on a vulnerable time, that's very easy box. Like if she just broke up with her boyfriend, she's not really too sure of herself. I would say that's a time where her emotions can be the downfall of her. So yeah, she'll probably have sex with a guy after she broke up with her boyfriend for only a week, and she'll regret it though. She'll regret it, and it will she'll feel shame. But when I'm speaking about like a very emotional woman, like just women in general being emotional, that's normally a mechanism to keep them safe from being so promiscuous because they're emotional. They're worrying about so much things. So they're like, looking at your Instagram. They're doing so much research to see if you're going to be, this type of guy. They're doing so much research to see if you're going to be like, a good suitable candidate to go out on a date with, because they're in like this, they're worrying all the time. So I would say emotions is a mechanism to actually keep the woman from not being as promiscuous. Normally the logical women, from my observation, some of them, they be the most promiscuous, bro. And these OnlyFans chicks, these corn stars and these chicks on the stripper pole, trust and believe, man, just watch the podcast. Not all of them. Some of them be dumb because they suffer from, they've been indoctrinated by feminism and the woke mind virus. But the ones that haven't been indoctrinated by that, which is many of them, but they still are a sexual deviant, they be logical, bro. And they know exactly what they doing. Let's continue on with the video.
He didn't actually say that. He said that. He said women. Ernest, hang on. He didn't actually say. Hang on. You're missing. Hang on. Stop talking, Ernest. Ernest.
I'm acting like Andrew right now.
You missed. Ernest. Stop talking for a moment.
You're acting like
all Andrew said was women are more emotional. He wasn't surprised, right? He wasn't sort of damning women for being emotional. He just said they are more emotional. Do you dispute that?
Yeah. Well, and she actually said no, they're not. How would you ever even dispute this? It's objectively true that the hormone functions that are inside of women are different than the ones that are inside of men. That is objectively true in general. Can you point to some women who are more? Hang on. Can you point to an outlier of some women? Hang on. I'm almost done. Calm down. Can you point to some women? Can you point to some women and say that they're more emotionally stable? Sure, but on average, women have far more emotional regularity than men do. In fact, they have one time of the month.
Taylor, would you say you're more emotional than your male colleagues when you worked with men?
Oh gosh, I've worked with men that have cried in my arms, and it's so funny for Andrew to say this.
Yeah, right.
Andrew,
those aren't men, honey.
Andrew is the one that is out. Andrew is the one that is losing his mind on this panel, screaming and shouting and making fun and doing all these.
Screamed and shouted at anybody. What are you talking about?
See, chat, what I told you. These feminists, they conflate two things. They conflate Andrew speaking in a passionate way and giving facts and things. Well, he's being emotional. I don't like the truth that he's saying, so he's being emotional. Oh, he's maybe saying things in an abrasive way or with passion. He's emotional. So she's just conflating things. She's dumb. I hope Andrew points it out too.
Do you
roll
think
the
that
tape
like
back.
if you just assert lies that people who watch this
Listen
aren't going to be
me
able to
right
see that they're
now.
clearly
Listen to me
lies?
right now, shouting over me. Listen to this. This is crazy. You have
That's
absolutely
not
no respect.
shouting. That's not
Well, Taylor,
shouting. What are you
let me
talking?
ask you
I
this,
think those
because
group
woman
earrings
to
are hurting
woman.
your brain, lady.
We can do this for a
What I'm
second,
talking
woman to woman,
about right
Taylor,
now.
because I will say to you, Taylor,
Andrew
there
speaks,
is no
therefore shouting.
And
there
the
is no
crazy,
question about
the crazy thing is, Chad, I don't know if you picked up on it. The thing that she just did. So in one sense, she is saying that it's okay for a man to be emotional, right? In one sense, she's saying it's okay for a man to be emotional, and but then in the other sense, she's getting on Andrew for being emotional, which Andrew isn't being emotional. So in one sense, it's like she wants to say, well, it's okay for men to be emotional, and it's okay for women to be emotional. Like that is okay, because once again, she's a feminist, so she's like all inclusive. She thinks that men and women are the same. But out of the same breath, she'll get on Andrew for being emotional. This is stupid. I wish Andrew would have pointed it out. Like, wait, time out. So are you okay with men crying? She'll say, yeah, I think that men should cry. Okay, so you're okay with men being emotional, but then why are you saying that? Why are you trying to shame me for being emotional? Booyah. She would have been like, well, I'm not. She would have been stuttering, would have lost her mind. She probably would have walked off and rage quit.
that when you look at Taylor, when you look at a man, his testosterone is pretty steady. His whether you like it or not, his hormones are steady. That's what comprises a man. When you look at our hormones, they do this naturally. That's why we have a cycle. That's why we have the beautiful gift of being able to make babies. That's what makes women women. So yes, there can be an outlier over here and there. John Boehner, I use the example of John Boehner, but it's very, very safe to say that in general, women are more emotional than men. And that does beg the question then, if women are in leadership roles where there are serious ramifications like a bond market sell-off, if that woman is seen crying, is that a good look overall for the country? The answer is no. Now, we can sit and have a debate over whether women should be in positions of power or not, but we can't have a debate over whether women are more emotional, because hormonally, that's just a fact.
Taylor?
Not her, but her colleagues are crying in her arms, though. They're crying in her arms.
I mean, yeah, I had a colleague that cried after something horrific happened.
That's
I mean,
not
we
what
witnessed.
you said. You said that you made it sound like men were coming to you and falling to pieces, and they were more emotional.
I said I had a male colleague cry in my arms. I've witnessed somebody die in front of my face at my job because
And
I'm
do
a
you
nurse.
think, though,
that's
that
not the
men
same
are more
thing.
emotional? Yeah, I know. It's so ridiculous.
Absolutely,
Your straw man.
it's the same.
Yo, she's so dumb, bro. This is how you know they have low IQ. She literally said, I witnessed someone die in my arms because I'm a nurse, and that's like my job. What does that have to do with the conversation about women being more emotional than men? What?
Is it the case that you, when you work with other men, that you're generally more emotional than them or not? That's the question.
Listen to you crash out. It's talking
Well, I
about
don't know why you won't answer. Why can't you answer
But
the
is
question,
it true?
lady?
Just answer it.
shouting like a little
Yeah, just
child.
yes or no. You're crashing
I-
out. Oh my God, you're crashing out. I don't know how to answer questions. Oh my God, just answer the question, lady.
Talking about how women are more emotional as you are
Are
literally
you more emotional than your male colleagues generally or not? Can you answer yes or no? That would be great.
Personalities and voices are we going to get on
Are
this?
you ever going to answer the question?
I've answered it many, many times to say once
Okay,
again.
so yes or no would be great.
You cannot. You're like a little petulant child.
Yes or no?
You're
Yes or no?
screaming and making these silly
I'm not
voices.
screaming. I'm holding you to account. Me talking
like,
is not
is it yes or
screaming.
no?
You ignoramus. Yes or no?
I think look at the example right here on this panel. That Andrew is absolutely
Still not
losing
answering
his-
the question, lady. Answer the question,
Women
lady.
are not
Answer the
inherently
question,
more-
lady.
See how you keep calling me lady? You won't call me by my name
Just
because
answer
you.
the question. I don't remember your name. Why am I?
Andrew, let me help you out. She never gonna answer the question, bro. She never gonna answer that question, bro. Because women don't like taking L's.
supposed to remember your name.
know
Answer
who
the
I
question.
know who I am.
Can you
Anyway,
answer
my
the question?
this is crazy.
Look, she'll rather die. Chat, listen. She would rather die. She'll rather die, fully die, than answer that question. Women do not like taking L's because she knows what comes after that. Once she says yes, it's complete obliteration. And if she says no, it's still complete obliteration because then she's lying and then he's just going to point it out. So it's like, listen, man, she'll probably rather, if you like hold her down and it's a choice, like, hey, choice to answer the question, or if you do this, if you answer the question honestly, you get $1 million. Nah, these feminists all about their money. Forget the money. They care more about the money than their bodies. So let's do this one. If you say, listen, answer the question or we cut off your hand. She gonna be like, which one? She gonna be like, which one? She getting rid of that hand quick. She do not want to answer no questions.
Women are not
yes
inherently.
or no?
Women are not
You're
inherently.
saying,
they're not
so you're
yeah,
not just
Women are not
honoring biology.
inherently angry.
Oh,
That's
by
what she's
the way.
saying. Are you not hearing what she's saying?
It's not.
You want her to
Yeah.
speak the way you want to speak, but she
Wait a
answered your
second, I'm
question.
sorry.
All right, let me
No,
ask
she's
Taylor a
saying
different
answer
question.
my
All right,
question.
hang on.
That's what she's
Taylor, let me
saying.
ask Taylor.
The
Let me ask
question I
Taylor.
didn't ask her.
Taylor, in relation to Rachel Reeves crying in the House of Commons, did she let the sisterhood down? Would it have been better for her to hold
I
it
can
in?
answer that question. No.
Ernest, you're not called Taylor.
Taylor. You look at that. They can answer questions. Yes.
Taylor?
Oh my God! Listen to this man just screeching.
Yeah.
Anyway, I will say
Yeah,
that
everyone
I think
talking is screeching.
you are screeching.
You're talking, you're screeching.
Listen to this. How this guy thinks he's like
Oh my
running the panel.
God. Oh my God. Clutch your pearls harder, lady. Just answer the
Oh my
questions you're
God.
asked.
It's so funny how you continue.
Would you
to
like
call
me to mail you a pearl necklace so you can tug it when we're on the panel next time? I can't believe it. Oh, how I'm treated is so terrible. Just answer the
Listen to this
questions. And then you
meltdown
won't
that
have this
this guy-
problem.
Piers,
Oh,
can
it's
I
a
have the
meltdown now.
opportunity?
Okay, Taylor, answer my question, Taylor.
Yes, absolutely. So I think that basically,
Oh, Pierce is gay, bro. If Pierce was really a writer and really a conservative, he would have been like, okay, answer my question. And then he would have repeated Andrew's same question. If he would have repeated Andrew's same question, it would have been good. But Pierce is a freaking panty boy.
generally, I take your point that any politician that shows emotion is often, or sadness rather, like crying, is often stigmatized for it. But women are stigmatized.
So to be clear, I think it depends on the circumstance, right? So if there was a terrible event, right, and a prime minister or a chancellor came out and got emotional talking about a terrible national tragedy, of course, no one's going to ever think anything other than that's a human emotion. I think the feeling here was that things had just got on top of her. It'd been a bad week at work. She'd had a few rows before she came out, and she just lost it in public. And it was that upset other women in particular who went, come on, you're the first female chancellor. Don't do this to us.
Well, because again, women are held to this really, really intense standard. And so, yes, any sort of display of emotion like that is going to be weaponized against them by people like this man or whatever who's on the panel who can't stop shouting. But I will say that, this idea that male leaders are not emotional. Here he is talking over me right now.
Well, I mean, you can't help but talk about me every 5 seconds, lady. Like, what do you want me to say?
You
can't reference me and then say I'm not allowed to respond. You can't
Taylor,
be like
to reference something that you said. Taylor, to reference something that you said.
Hang on, I want to hear Taylor answer the question. Taylor.
Thank you, Piers. To finish my point, I will say that this idea that male leaders aren't emotional, I think is just completely wrong, because I think they're emotional in different ways. Society stigmatizes different forms of emotion in man. The way that a lot of men express their emotion as political leaders is anger. And what Ernest was talking about earlier of Donald Trump being erratic, irrational, emotional, he is extremely emotional. We have plenty of male leaders who are highly emotional, and they might not be crying, but I would say that they're very intense emotions do have significant political and economic consequences. So I think it's good to destigmatize emotion, but let's not act like there's not sexism here.
And let's also give you credit, Taylor.
Bro, I don't know why they're talking about Trump right now and saying that he's emotional. And you can say that. Now, when you speak about emotional, it's a broad, we would say that emotional, everyone's understanding of emotional, if we're being honest here, right, chat? If we say, oh, you're being emotional, this would be like whining, this would be like crying, this would be like something that it's like negative, right? Oh, you're being emotional, right? Now, when we're speaking about Trump, does he do any whining? I wouldn't say whining. Maybe he could be firm and stern and be abrasive at times when he's speaking. Does he make jokes? He makes a lot of jokes. Yeah, a lot of jokes. But whining, nah. Complaining, yeah, you do some complaining. But maybe not like a whining. The thing is, when it comes to Trump, we got to be honest. Homie got shot, got back up, stood up, and said, fight. His slate is clean. He can do whatever he want. We was expecting, I mean, not me, but I'm sure the liberals was expecting for Trump to cry or do something, act very, erratic or something. He even did a speech like the day after or like 2 days after or something like that, or 3 days after. And he wasn't emotional at all. He was stable, which at that time I was thinking like, yo, if he actually did show a little emotion, not be emotional, but if he would have showed a little emotion towards the situation, like, I took a bullet for this country. This chick, Kamala Harris, wouldn't even take a spitball for this country. Man, I would have lost it. I think even all the Democrats would have voted for him if he would have said that. But he didn't even have to. This shows you that being stoic and being in control of your emotions, people actually view you as being more secure. Like me, I do my podcast and I have these chicks on. And chicks, threw drinks on me before. I had drinks thrown on me. Didn't get emotional at all. Was very, stoic. Had women swing on me. I had to do Aikido to block their little punches. And I didn't get emotional at all. Didn't, push the girl or didn't fight the girl back at all. Stayed completely stoic. So my behavior and clips like that went viral. I mean, like millions of views on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, millions upon millions of views for those videos of chicks wilding out and me being stoic. And guess what? I get a lot of praise from men like, yo, I wish I had the patience and emotional stability that you displayed in this video here. And this is something that's just in my character. When you guys witness Cooley and you see me like, maybe yelling at camera or, doing my debates and, I'm making jokes and stuff like that, most of it is like me giving entertainment value. I'll be honest. I'm like half and half of, meaning that I'm not like that. I'm not out like that. You get what I'm saying? I'm not out like that. I'm normally like very conserved. Like if you meet me in person, it's always like a straight line, but I'm doing a podcast. Part of me podcasting is entertainment value. Is for me to entertain you guys. That's what it's for. Then the other part is educational. The other part is, a multitude of other things. I'm running the show here, doing dating and relationship shows, doing debates as well. But yeah, man, I think that these feminists, they conflate men showing emotions as them being emotional. And I think that how everyone in society views an emotional person, that's like if you're like falling to pieces. That's like if you're breaking down. That's like if you're almost crying but not crying. And it's like if you are crying, or if you're like whining and stuff like that, or being like just like not yelling but like screaming, like the screaming, like the annoying scream, like that would be like, you're being emotional right now. You get what I'm saying? So that is much different. This stupid feminist, she doesn't know what she's talking about. She's just dumb. And the reason why she thinks like this is because her presupposition, the things that she presupposes about men and women, is just all incorrect. Let's continue on.
You've probably had a harder time from Andrew Wilson in the last hour than Rachel Reed's got from her colleagues, and you haven't cried. So I think that should be acknowledged.
I'm here.
Well,
I've
I
been
mean,
here for 2 years and
give me
have not
another
cried.
hour.
Please, you just whine and whine and whine.
You know, I think
Well, I
you
don't
two.
know. So the whole thing is like, you can see even on this panel, holding women accountable is basically impossible. They don't even answer questions. Like, we asked this lady, I don't know how many questions, and she answers every question except the one we asked her, just reframes the entire debate every time.
Want to hear the
You would have
answers.
had a way less
have
hard. It would have been way less hard for you
those
if you would have just
stubborn
actually answered
men
anything
where
we
they
asked you.
literally simply
But isn't that
cannot
your
let a
show?
woman speak. You'll note, by the way, you'll note how he speaks to me. He doesn't give me the courtesy of speaking with my
No.
name. He's been mocking.
You called me
He's been-
this man. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
I called
finally.
you
You have been a
Yeah, what do you
jerk.
mean? Am I
Exactly,
going, oh my
Ernest.
God, she called me this man. Oh,
Here
she's
he
so
goes once
disrespectful.
again doing
Oh.
this disrespectful voice. It's really something to watch. And I think when we're talking about emotion, and we have a man on this very panel who can't help but do these strange little voices and interrupt every 2 seconds and get mad that he's
What I
not
find
the
interesting, can I just say, Taylor,
It's called being charismatic, chick. It's called having charisma. That's what that's called. It's called being entertaining and having charisma, where I can change my voice and mimic you to make you look dumb. That's called being entertaining, having some charisma. This is how men bagged you. Listen, every guy that you opened up your legs to was niggas that displayed some type of charisma. So what are you speaking about, you stupid whore? These are the type of men that you like, that you give box up to. These are the characteristic traits in a man that you spread your legs open to. This chick don't know what she's talking about. She's trying to shame Andrew about, speaking and being entertaining or being charismatic, and saying that it's whining and being emotional. No, it's not. This type of behavior that Andrew Wilson is displaying is the type of behavior if you was at a function, and maybe if he can still say it the way he said it, but maybe if it was something else that you're just mad at what he said. You're not mad at how he said it. That's the thing. These feminists, they like to always put up a disguise like, well, it's how you're saying it. It's not what you're saying. And once again, women lie to themselves, so you can't really trust them. So like when they speak, it's always usually the opposite. You got to reverse it. Now, I'm not saying all women. Relax, the feminist that's in the chat. I'm speaking in general, specifically about like feminist or woke people that share like the woke ideology. What they'll do is, when you're speaking to them, they'll just conflate the two. But yeah, anyways, let's continue on.
what I find
Just
interesting,
answer,
hold
next
on a
time, just
second,
answer the
1 second.
questions, lady.
What I
Wild.
find interesting about this panel is that, Taylor, you chose, to be honest, you chose to talk about sexism.
Oh yeah, my bad. But I want to just finish my last train of thought there. So what I was saying was, these feminist women, what they would do is they're not really mad about, how you say things. They'll say, oh, I'm mad about how you said it. This is how you said it. No, it's what you being said. She's mad at Andrew because Andrew is spitting facts. Andrew is refuting all of her points. And she has no refutations for any of the points that he's making. She has no way to refute his points. So then she's just making personal attacks. Like, oh, you're whining. Oh, you're a misogynist. Oh, you're this and that. Like, if you actually listen, chat, that's all she's saying. She's calling him names instead of answering questions, instead of stating her own, like actually stating facts or refuting some of his arguments. She's done none of that, but just call him names, right? So at the end of the day, the example I was given, the type of characteristic traits that Andrew Wilson is displaying, which I would say is like charisma, being charismatic, having the ability to speak in a way where it gets people going. You know what I mean? And how cool he speaks. So it's like, obviously, women, if this chick was at a function and she met a man that was charismatic, to have other people laugh, to get other people to gather around him when he's speaking, she'll be like, oh, wow, he's charming. This guy, okay, he's cool. Other people likes the way he speaks. I like the way he speaks. This is the type of characteristic traits that she opens up her legs to in a man. I would have said that to her. I would have been like, listen, You know how I speak right now. It's not how I speak is what you like, but it's what I speak and that's what you don't like. Because how I speak, most of the men that you had sex with, this is how they speak, and you all opened up your legs to them. She'll be like, wait, well, what are you speaking about? Then I would have broke it down to her like, you dang whore, you know what I'm speaking about. You want a man to be charismatic. What is part of the man being charismatic? Having the ability to make you feel the vibes, giving you the ability to make you feel comfortable. And Andrew Wilson changing his voice, highs and lows and stuff like that, that's a good thing. What women don't like is like robotic men, when they're like monotone. Well, this and this and this. Oh, well, what about this? That's boring to chicks. She's like, oh, he's a loser. He just speaks like he's not exciting, right? Think about it, chat. Chicks, they want excitement. They don't create any vibe themselves out on a date. They look for the man to create the vibe, and then they dive in the vibe that the man created. So when it comes down to it, women expect the man, that they actually expect and want the man to be the one to like guide the conversation and be funny, but also know when to be a little bit serious at times, but serious in a way where it's comfortable serious, right? It's always got to be like, it can't be too direct, right? And how Andrew Wilson is giving these highs and lows, like how he's speaking, this is the type of things that she's actually attracted to, chat. Trust me, I know women. She's attracted to this, but she's just pissed off because she don't like what he's saying. Let's continue on.
And to say, well, women have, an unfair advantage in this and they're stigmatized in that. And to go after Andrew, when in fact, I've been saying a lot of the same things that he's been saying, but you chose to make it about sexism. You chose to, because it's an easy target. Hold on a second. Because it's an easy target.
Ma'am, you are not.
But it's an easy target. It's an easy target to say the man on the panel. The bottom line is that women.
Here's the man on the panel.
This is the perfect example that Jedediah brung out, because Jedediah and Andrew Wilson essentially has been saying the same thing. But guess what? They've been essentially saying the same thing. It's more triggering to Andrew. It's more triggering the fact that Andrew Wilson is saying it is because they look at her as a woman, right? And they always want to find any way to like pedestalize the woman. So they're not going to come at her too much. It's like, oh, Andrew Wilson, that's the easier target. He's a man. Men should be shamed anyway. So good point. Good point there.
Ernest, why don't you listen to Ernest? Hey, ma'am, why don't you
want to be treated as an equal to a man? If you want to be treated as an equal to a man, then it can't always be sexism this or misogyny
Nobody's saying that all the men on this panel are sexist. They're saying that this guy, Andrew, will not.
It's the approach. Hold on, let me. I want to say this. It's not about
destigmatize emotion, except Andrews.
But instead of crying sexism, just answer the questions, right? We can
just answer the question.
The way that he
as women,
respectfully, if you listen,
here comes the tone policing.
It's about gender, because there's three men on this panel. It's about approach. None of us have called.
Wait, time out. There's not three men on the panel. Even Andrew Wilson, like, wait, there's three men on the panel. You ain't no man. What is you? You are a male. You are a male. You got an XY chromosome, but you adopted all the characteristic traits of a woman. But you're not a woman either. You're some stuff that's like you in La La Land, nigga. You ain't even in reality.
Panel?
None of us are berating her. You see how he's disrespecting me, and I haven't even went there.
But what I'm saying to you, Ernest, listen, as a woman, I'm saying to you, as a woman, instead of crying sexism, I'm not going to sit here and cry sexism or cry misogyny when somebody comes at me. I'm going to answer the question, and I'm going to come back with facts.
Okay.
So that's all I'm saying.
You aligned yourself with Andrew. Yeah.
Hold on. So let me say this.
I'm not aligning myself with anyone. I gave you my opinion.
And that's why you will never say sexism, because the other men on this panel agree with you. I don't agree with you on a lot of points, but I'm respecting you. That's why you can't say sexism. The other two men, Piers disagrees with Taylor, but Piers is not disrespecting Taylor, and she's not calling him sexist.
Listen, Andrew can defend himself.
It's disrespectful. It's disrespectful to purposely obfuscate and avoid the questions you're being asked. That is not respect. That is a form of the greatest form of disrespect, not tone, dude. Refusing to answer the questions you're asked, that's what's disrespectful.
meltdown and doing all of these silly little voices and refusing to call me by my name, and just by basically throwing a little temper tantrum
Well,
and
why
interrupting.
don't we try and end?
Yeah, man. All these feminists, what they do is they tone police all day. Oh, it's how you saying it. No, stop it. You're lying. It's not how he's saying it. It's what he's saying. Like, it's what he's saying. She's a complete liar. And at the end of the day, from this video of what all of you witnessed here, if there's any feminists in the chat, let me make it big on me real quick. We rebuke you.
Why don't we try and end on a happy note?
It's not my fault.
I want Andrew and Taylor to end by saying something nice about each other to each other. Andrew, you go first. Something nice about
He's
Taylor.
alive. That's something nice. He's alive. He's alive.
Andrew, something nice about Taylor.
Well, I mean, it doesn't look like she's going bald. I think that's good.
Taylor, something nice
A lot of
about
women in
Andrew.
that age bracket. A lot of women in that age bracket go bald. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe it's all the plastic. I don't know.
I can't say the same thing for Andrew's hairline, but I guess he has a nice.
It's nicer than your hairline.
Come on, Taylor, one compliment.
Nicer than your hairline.
Well, now here he is, negating what he just said about my hair. Piers, I don't think Andrew is capable of saying something
So
kind.
you can rise to a high.
Yo, listen, make it big. Big screen on me. Big screen on me. Yo, this feminist, she's so butthurt right now. And she's so emotional. It's just showing all. Like, Andrew Wilson, I mean, it's a backhand compliment, but we can say that it is, it's the nicest compliment that you can get. Andrew Wilson says, hey, well, it's pretty good that you're not going bald right now. Most women in that age bracket, something happens. They headline tend to get pushed back. Seems like they lose hair. So, okay, you're not going bald. Compliment. She did not give him a compliment at all. She starts to make a remark, but then Andrew Wilson comes back and say, because she makes a remark about Andrew Wilson's hair, and then Andrew Wilson just makes a remark right back, like, well, no, my hair seems to be in its right place, and my headline seems to be in the right place, but yours isn't. Let's continue on.
Please, Taylor, say something nice about him.
I said I liked his shirt. I think he's got a nice shirt on, and that is really something.
Yeah, we like flannel.
Okay, she actually said something nice back. Yeah. This chick, for her to say that, she probably had all her fingers crossed and her toes crossed at the same time. She probably crossed everything. Chat was like, cross fingers, cross toes. Her arms is folded right now when she said it. Like, well, yeah, I think, Andrew, you have a very nice shirt on. She's so pissed off. Let's continue on.
On that happy note, we will leave it. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Piers.
All right, chat. That is the end of this reaction. So get the likes up, man. Don't be